You guys, what podcast are we on? Don't look. Don't
72.
look.
100.
If it was 100, so much time would have passed that I would have just felt bad.
It's the hidden episode.
We would have died. That's the final episode, Bradley.
There-
We'll have enough episodes out to get syndicated by TBS.
Oh, that's good. Hi everybody. It's been a while. It's been a month since the last one, almost. Which it tends to happen on these busier months, but travel happened. We talked about JoJo's in One Piece instead.
Turns out,
nice.
when you get to be around 30 years old, you got a lot of shit to do in your life, and not a lot of time to sit down and do things.
Everybody go around and say one thing they've been avoiding doing, one adult thing. I'll go first. I need to get my car inspected and registered.
Oh, same.
Okay. What y'all got? Everybody air out your sins. I did my taxes. I'm good. I feel good about that.
Good job. I have been like getting a pile of my factor boxes, and I needed to walk them the 5 feet to the garbage chute and put them in there, but I just don't want to tear them down.
Oh, Joe, come on, do that.
But like, here's the thing. They're not just boxes. It's the boxes and the foam and the fucking gel pads of like, and it's so you have to break all that shit down, and it takes like 3 garbage bags to put all the extra shit in. It's so fucking annoying. It's awful.
Okay, you're not that gross.
Yeah.
We have valet trash where I live.
So do we.
But the management just changed for like the 3rd time, and they just didn't pick up my trash for like 5 days, which sounds like a bougie thing to complain about, but when you're paying an extra $50 a month for it, I think you have the right to be a little bitchy about it.
Yeah.
Anywho, why don't we talk to each other about?
Other than mine, I got one.
You said okay. You said
I
the car.
just said same.
Okay.
I did all my laundry right before I had to leave for a week, and I packed what I needed, and then left the rest in a pile just sitting on my bed.
Classic.
Still there.
I've been folding them over the kitchen chairs until like someone might come over, and then I move them all to the living room. So it's like a 2-step process of shame.
I fold like 3 pieces a day before I go into work. Like, I'll pick it up and be like, I don't want to wear this, and just fold it real quick.
Me too, because I'll go to the living room during work and like get some water, and then I bring back like 2 pieces of clothing back with me, and then I chip away at it like that.
That would be a great method, except I have to be like live with a webcam on the entire time. Not like the entire time.
You have to work with a webcam on that?
No, like when I'm doing my meetings, I should say. Like, yeah. Otherwise, I'm doing work and sending emails.
That would be anxiety-inducing. Bradley, you haven't said your adult thing you need to do.
Mine, I guess, would be the laundry. I was gonna say oil change, but I finally got my goddamn oil change, even though I've been putting it off.
I need to do that too. I'm so behind.
No, dude, I have like the clean laundry hamper and the dirty laundry hamper, and I'll do laundry up until the clean hamper fills up, and then I don't want to fold it, so I just stop doing laundry.
That's me.
Oh, adulting is hard, kids.
Yeah,
But
don't forget it.
We figure it out, and we carve out a nice 3 hours to talk about non-adulty things.
So, I read something in like a Reddit thread, and it's really helped me just to get like some chores out of the way. And it's like the, well, why not kind of mentality. Like, for example, like I'm like putting food on to get cooked. Go like, well, why not while I'm waiting for this? I just put the dishes away, and I do that.
That is when I put away the dishes. They stay in there until I'm cooking, and then I slowly move stuff out.
And it's the same with like, you know, if I'm taking out the trash, I'm like, well, while I'm over here, might as well just change the laundry over and put laundry in the trash can or something, or laundry in the laundry machine. I'll put trash in the trash can when I want to. Damn it!
This motherfucker just throws all his clothes in the trash. That's a self-roast.
I buy new set of clothes every week. But yeah.
I saw Bradley this weekend. It was his birthday recently, and I got to hang out with him. We ate some bomb-ass tacos, and we played some games. Bradley, how's the tush?
Dude, we've never had like such a close set of. Well, no, we've had plenty of close games. We've never had such a one-sided set of games. Willer beat my ass in tennis 5 times in a row.
It was eerie enough to where he accused me of practicing in the off season. I did no such thing.
No, it won't happen this way next time.
I think you were just moving at a slower pace than I was in IRL.
Here's the thing: I was getting excited about how much more meter than you I was building up, and then I was using it just to use it, but not wisely.
Yeah, Bradley's really good at building meter in that game, but
I'm just yeah.
There's a sex joke in there somewhere. But anyways,
that's a stretch. You're just horny, Joe. Joe,
always.
Since you're horny on main, why don't you tell me what you've been up to in your quickies?
Yeah, let's bring up the official. Okay, so oh gosh, so really, like, I really have 2 big things that happened, or that 2 trips I took since our last podcast discussion. The first one was the camp that I went to for 10 years as a child and 4 years as a counselor had like a camp alumni weekend. They invited people that had been to camp as a camper, as a counselor, to come and just like spend a weekend and just hang out and like do all activities, some camp traditions. And also, like, you could bring your friends and family just to show them what camp was like. It was a lot of fun. We had like some color wars type of thing where like we got into like different teams and we fought. The fucked up thing was, so I have like everyone makes like good group of friends whenever they go to camp, and so my group of friends were like, oh, we should do like a meetup reunion thing, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, sure.
Not the first you guys have done, right?
No, it would be the second one, and
That's
so
cute.
we're like, oh, and we saw this camp alumni thing. We're like, oh, let's do that. Super easy. It was like $150 a person, so it's like it's not that bad to like just spend 3 days there. So I signed up and went to it. Not a single goddamn one of them showed up.
I forgot you said that. No, you did tell us that, and I forgot till now.
Yeah, and it was just like great. But the good news is that like some people that I did go to camp with, or like were at camp with me as a counselor, were there, so I did get to hang out with them, so I wasn't completely alone, and we had a good time. It also was like a weird, really bittersweet moment because 2 things: the owners of the camp are moving off the property. All their kids have grown up and they're all adults now. So like, well, we have this big house. We don't really need it anymore. So we're going to move off somewhere, still run the camp, but not be on camp all the time and distance ourselves from it. And the other like boys head camp director that's been there for years, like 20 plus years, his last summer was like last summer. And this was the last camp thing he was doing before he was finished out for the entire for being retired, which was crazy. The other thing I realized was that like come this summer, I will have officially spent more summers away from camp than at camp. Ooh. Which was really weird.
As a camp boy, I'm sure that's a reality check.
Oh yeah, it was. I was just sitting there in the cold night in the cabin like this. Weird to think about. But, you know, it was very nostalgic. It was a weirdly good closure moment of like, I don't need to come back here. I really have to. So I didn't like feel that bad. In retirement news, my mother is officially retiring in exactly 1 month.
Oh my God.
June 2nd is her last day of work. Just in time for Street Fighter. Mom's going to be working on the moves.
Oh, yes. I can't wait to play Street Fighter with your mom.
Yeah. But we had her retirement party last week, this actual weekend that just happened, because it was just a good time, and my parents are going out of town like right after she retires. So we combined it with another good friend of ours who is the sports director of the school district as well, and so we went to this like small bar, and we rented out their patio section where a local band that my mom and them really like. We had about, I think it was a space for about like 30 or 40 people, and I think we had 70 people show up. And then I got very drunk, and I somehow made an impromptu dance competition and won it, and the band gave me a free t-shirt. And my family drank the entirety of every Tito's bottle in the bar dry. They had no Tito's by the end of the night. And we went home at like 11, and they had no Tito's vodka.
You guys go hard.
And then we got the bill back, They fucked up and only charged us $50.
Oh,
Yeah.
that sounds like an absolute win. Sounds like a great night.
Yeah, it was quite fun. And then my sister's boyfriend pulled me aside and let me know that he is thinking about proposing to her soon, which was very nice and sweet.
Oh no! Little do you know, Joe, she watches the podcast.
Our most faithful fan.
I would be shocked.
I'm in Joe with that basket. Sorry, I'm gonna I was also thinking about that earlier. I was like, man, I think I figured out how I'm gonna propose to my girlfriend this year. And I can talk with y'all about it. Because as supportive as she is, I know for a damn fact she doesn't fucking listen to this shit.
Nice. This is your open letter. Like, you could just say whatever.
You know what's
It's your
even better
burner
is
account.
what's even better is that when you do propose to her, you could have been like, Kelly, I already said all of this like 3-4 months ago or a year ago.
You can rub it in her face. It'll be good, yeah.
That would be good.
That is vindicating.
But we had a great retirement party with my mother. It was a lot of fun. And it was very cool. She also got a really cool cake to go along with it.
Nice.
Yeah. That's it for my quickies.
Nice. Good quickies. All right, who's next, chumps? Who's volunteering?
Me.
Go, Bradley.
Okay.
What are you up to?
Yeah, so my quickies are kind of interesting because here's the thing. For like the meat, most of the stuff I've been doing lately is stuff I've done before, like more Kingdom Hearts and Divinity. So for my quick talks, I feel like what would normally go into like a movie block, I'll just do it quickly here. I've been watching some funny fucking movies. Some of them not funny, but I was just entertained by it. Well, you know, it's not every movie.
Yeah.
But, you know.
I get you.
The You Peoples of the world. Sorry.
Oh, dude. One of them was Baby Mama, starring Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, and I thought it was fucking hilarious. It was It's a 2000s comedy.
So this would be before Parks and Rec and stuff? Like,
Maybe.
That would be at 2010, so it's probably like...
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think this movie came out like either 2010, 2011.
Wow. That's like right in the cusp. I would hope this is good, because
it's
good
pretty
chemistry.
fucking funny, dude. I feel like they do have a good chemistry, because they star in it, but they also wrote it, I think.
Yeah. I think this was like right on the cusp of Tina Fey and Amy Poehler like in their SNL block or just coming off of it. Because like they were a powerhouse in SNL. Like it was like I vividly remember people talking about the two of them and their newscast, their weekend newscast, whatever they call it.
That's some good shit.
Yeah.
I feel like you can just tell like the crew has a good synergy together. Man, I don't know. This movie, something about the sense of humor was really tickling me because I don't know, it has a knack for making like little one-off jokes that aren't really acknowledged by the characters after they happen, and I don't know, something about that just makes me laugh because like I don't know, like she set up a little booth and she was giving out free snacks or whatever for some event for her company, and this guy runs up and he just starts like this whole thing takes place in like 5 seconds. He just starts like ransacking this thing, grabbing all these snacks, and she's like, no, they're free, you can just take them. And then he like looks at her like a deer in headlights and grabs a bunch more snacks and sprints off. And I'm just like,
I feel like I've seen that clip.
I don't know, it just cracks me up. And then so there was that movie. Also, something I never watched when I was 14, Divergent. And man, I was way more enthused than I thought it would be.
That's the Divergent is the not Hunger Games of the time.
Yes.
Fun fact: Divergent came out when Bradley was 16.
Damn. You want to know another?
Bradley, how old were you 9 years ago?
9 years ago?
Dox yourself, Bradley, right now.
Yeah. Bradley, what is your social security number while you're at it?
Were you 14 9 years ago?
No. No, I just turned 27.
Oh.
Man, when the young one turns 27 among us, it hits. It hits different.
Speaking of fun facts about Divergent, fun fact about the last Divergent book movie thing. Like they did the classic Harry Potter split where they took the last book and they split into two halves because of money. And so they made the first movie. It did so poorly that they recasted the entire cast and made it into a direct-for-TV sequel for that movie. Yeah.
Oh my god, that's awful.
That's insane. What the
It is
fuck?
insane. Like, what the fuck?
They're like, we don't have the budget for these trash actors. And it's not even the actor's fault, most likely. It's the script.
No. I think that's really funny.
Bradley, you just watched the first one?
No, I also watched the second one, and here's the thing. The end of the second movie kind of had one of those twists that's in the realm I like, and I'm kind of digging it. I'll spoil the super old movie.
Do it.
If you don't want the spoiler for the second Divergent movie.
I want to know.
So they've been living in this like dystopian society for the first two movies that they're trying to rebel against. Well, then they succeed at the end of the second movie, and it turns out that this entire dystopian society they've been living in was an experiment set up by survivors on the outside that they didn't know were there.
God damn.
And they intentionally made this dystopian society to find like the types of people who can thrive in environments like that, because they're like, those people will be able to make a society that we can actually live in. And I was like, it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. So there's some cool stuff going on there.
Wait, are you sure you watched Divergent?
Well, there's Divergent, and then the second one is called some other shit, and then the third one is
are you sure that's you just described Maze Runner?
Well,
Tyler, I have news.
Probably also did describe.
I also have some bad news for you. That is every young adult's novel after Hunger Games.
Emmy was just like, it's literally Maze Runner.
There was no Maximum Ride, or didn't do that.
No, here's the thing. Like, that's a twist I love.
Maximum Ride do that?
I love it because it's in so many things.
Maximum Ride just did biogenetic human experimentation.
No, I think in one of the books it was actually revealed to be that, if I'm remembering correctly.
It had to be like book 6 or some shit.
It probably was. I stopped reading after book 4 or whatever it was.
Yeah. Wait, are these Maze Runner books? I don't know how many there were.
There was like 3. No, we were talking about Maximum Ride.
So hold on, I didn't know that. I don't know what you guys are talking about for the first time in my life. Like what?
Maximum Ride. So Maximum Ride is a story about these runaway kids that got biomedically experimented on, and they all have like angel wings, and so they can fly.
It is a James Patterson teen series,
and they're hunted by these werewolf creatures, if I remember correctly, Tyler.
I don't. Yeah, they're hunted by something the entire time.
Yeah, and so it's just full of teenage angst and hormones and bunch of retcons of this person died and then they didn't die and then back to life.
I forgot about that.
And then I think each of the angel people have some sort of special powers. I think Max Ride, which is the main character's name, she can read minds, I think, or if she's connected to someone emotionally, she can read their minds. I forget how it works.
It is revealed at one point that the reason they have wings. They are not angel wings. They're actually pigeon wings, and they all have super lightweight bones. So they get massacred really fucking easily.
Yeah, they break. But they also heal quicker, I think, too, because
they do. Yeah. That's the compensation.
This is wild.
At one point, some kid gets hit with a baseball bat, and the kid fucking dies.
He fucking he got critically hit and exploded in XCOM.
Got hit by Ness.
Yeah.
Was this movies or books? All books.
The books. Yeah. The first 3, if I remember correctly, I really liked and enjoyed. And then I read the 4th one, and the 4th book was the first time I read something went this is garbage. They
retconned it in the 4th one.
Yeah, and I think it was shorter, and that was around the time when James Patterson really stopped writing his own books and gave an outline to a ghostwriter to do the books for him.
Maximum Ride does have a TV series.
Interesting. I bet it's not good.
Oh no, it's a movie.
Interesting. I bet it's not good.
It does not look good.
Now, steering back, Bradley, are you a fan of the Hunger Game movies? This is an open question. How have those aged for y'all?
That's the thing. We rewatched them on Netflix. I think at Netflix's direction because I mean, there's I don't know. You'll be on the internet and all of a sudden there's one week where it seems like everybody's rewatching some fucking movie, and then you go on Netflix and it's at the top. It's okay, well, it's society's time to rewatch this thing.
It's the cultural reset.
We rewatched the Hunger Games movies. They were entertaining. Here's the thing. I remember, like, when the Hunger Games books were coming out, I was, like, feverishly waiting for the next one to come out.
Same.
Me too.
I loved these fucking books.
Mm-hmm.
The second movie I thought was really, really good. The first and the third I thought were just kind of okay.
Okay, hold on real quick, because in my mind, for some reason, 2 was always so cool to me, and I'm like, wondering if that was like a weird take or if that's the popular take.
It's the best one. It's the peak of the series.
Yeah.
The shit in the book where the crazy lady's like figuring out that they're in a clock and there's gas everywhere. I don't know why that lives rent free in my head.
That's a great book. I remember reading that and be like, just being enthralled by that.
And like the concept of like the Survivor All-Stars, and you get introduced to Aquaman from District 4.
Oh, dude, he's the coolest. Here's the thing. With in regards to Hunger Games, I was going through my Audible account, which I've had a subscription for a while to Audible. And I recently canceled it, but I had a bunch of you
gotta use those credits, man.
Yeah, that's the thing. I forgot you just build up those credits over time. So I bought a bunch of stuff, and one of the things I bought, I think it's only like a 15-hour audiobook, is like the next Hunger Games book, which I think is it's like a past Hunger Game.
The Songbird, that's just about to get a movie.
Yeah,
it's about to get a movie. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Yeah, I'll give it a listen. Whatever.
It's about President Snow. That I remember liking President Snow. Maybe it was.
On our rewatch, distinctly, the one thing I remember really loving that I don't remember loving this much before was President Snow, because at the end, when the kids die, she's like, why the fuck would you do this? And he's like, I didn't kill those kids. And she's like, well, you're obviously a fucking liar because you're the bad guy. And he was like, here's the thing, Katniss, way back in like the first movie, we promised we would never lie to each other. And to my knowledge, neither of us ever have. And here's the other thing. We both know I'm not above killing kids. I do it all the time. I would tell you if I did it. I did not kill those kids. And I was like, President Snow's fucking cool.
That's pretty good. That's good. Yeah. About that prequel, it's a novella, so it's much shorter. Apparently, also, it's really good. Like, people are like, it's actually like a pretty solid addition to the series.
It's seeming kind of juicy.
The fact that it's shorter also means that they'll probably be able to adapt it better. Oh, I might go watch this movie. What is happening right now?
Dude, it's the Hunger Games Renaissance, man.
I
never watched the last Hunger Games movie, the second half of the third book.
I did, I think. I remember liking it, though. Like, the whole concept is a little borked, where they're like in a booby trap city to kind of give you the survival vibes again, but like it's a revolution.
I never read or watched the movies. The first book came out in 2008, and I was done reading teenage books at that time.
He was a big kid.
No, I found I was in 8th grade, and I found
actual peak fiction.
No, I found The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy that year, and just went off reading like weird sci-fi books from like the 60s and 70s.
Hell, you and I did the same exact thing as well.
Yeah,
I read Hitchhikers as well. It's a good series.
Yeah, so I that was all I kind of read my 8th grade, was like all the different Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy books. I remember I read some weird other offbeat fantasy books that don't exist anymore.
I just remembered the series that is like a Joe and I cannot for the life of me remember what the series is called. But I just remember the first book is called The Heir of
The Heir of Jane Eyre. You're cutting out a little bit, Joe. I don't know. It's
sorry.
The usual mic issue, maybe.
I'll just close everything out again. The Heir Affair, as in Jane Eyre. And the premise of the book is like, it's kind of like a weird thing where, how do I even describe this? Like, people have developed a way to like go into books as like a scientific method, kind of a thing. And so people go into books, and then like people go in and change the books, and like depending if you can find like the original like manuscript of the book and change that, it changes all of the books entirely. But they also
Family Guy episode.
I wouldn't be surprised. But then also like there's also like a library that's within like this whole like book society system. I can't remember the specifics of it, but like it was really cool because they talked to all these like old like very God, what's it called, free use like characters, and they're like constantly like interacting with each other and things like that. And the main character, she's like a book detective, so whenever she sees a discrepancy in books, she has to go in and figure out who's changing the books for whatever reason, and like arrest them or like rewrite the books so they're correct.
This sounds cool.
Yeah, it's like a hefty book series too. I read like a lot of them, and I really enjoyed them like a lot.
This has been a nice nostalgic tangent.
Yeah.
Bradley, did you have any more movies in your movie block?
No, but something funny related to media, I guess. I was watching. Okay, there's a Disney Channel original movie called Minutemen, featuring Jason Dolly. And what's really funny is I was watching like a YouTube retrospective on this movie, like I was doing for a bunch of Disney Channel movies. But this guy was going through the cast of Minutemen, and he's like, "Here's Jason Dolly. You'd recognize him from blah 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 blah." And he went through the other blonde actor, and he's like, "Oh, you might recognize him from all these Disney movies." And then he got to the third guy, who is played by the actor who plays Greg in Succession.
Oh.
And he was like, "Yeah, I think this guy's just from Minutemen. I've never really seen him before." And then I think in a different video, he was like, "All right, look, a lot of y'all in the comments, let me know that this guy's not just from Minutemen."
That's good.
Oh, dude, it made me crack up. Which, also on that note, I think the newest season of Succession is out right now.
It is ongoing, and every week, Bradley, I hear that the episode's crazy, and I haven't. I've been meaning to catch up on Ted Lasso first, but you should catch up to Succession so we can watch the ending around the same time.
That's the thing. I think if we both caught up on Succession, it'd be good to bounce it off.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
And we have like, I think there's like still 4 episodes left, so we
so you know. But that's all my stuff.
Cool.
I want to just bring it up on the podcast. The series is called the Thursday Next series.
Thursday Next.
Yes, I posted the first book Wikipedia page in like our chat, but like I just wanted to throw it out there because I have very fond memories of, like finding this book in my junior high library. The book smells weird. I want to read it.
He smelled that peak fiction smell that you could sometimes get in the air.
And I read it, and I was like, I really like this, and then I figured out there was more. And I just like the interacting with the other these old classic like characters, and I think really too, it's like a great book to just like teach literary illusion and analysis. Do that to like these crimes. So I think it's kind of good. Oh man, I'm gonna just pop out.
Okay, real quick. Tyler, do you want to go?
Yeah, I can go. What did I do? What have I been?
What have you been up to? Well, you traveled. I know that.
Yeah, I've been busy like every weekend for like the past 6 weeks. I've still got 2 more to go. So I watched Creator Clash 2. That was pretty neat. That was it was much better than last year. Felt a lot more organized with the right amount of cringe still layered on top.
That's important.
It felt much more official. Had some like nice celebrity, like real celebrity guests. Like there was a professional wrestler there who was not like a wrestler who like backyard wrestling. Like no, it was like a real guy with like cinder blocks for fists. He had like multiple belt titles that he won in like the script and everything. Shit was insane. The guy fought the guy from Epic Mealtime.
Oh yeah, no, Harley lost this time.
Yeah, Harley got his shit kicked by this guy.
That's karma.
But no, the guy literally had cinder blocks for fists.
You can't say literally there because now I don't know because it's in Florida.
No,
so
Willer,
maybe.
literally.
No, there may be some Florida guy has cinder block head.
I'm pretty sure that's a Simpson gag of the guy putting bricks in his like boxing gloves against Homer Simpson and Homer takes the hit.
I'm thinking something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Bradley, you didn't go this year, right?
No, we actually bought the tickets because the tickets are very inexpensive. They were inexpensive last year too. But then, oh my god, plane tickets were like hundreds and hundreds of dollars more than we thought they would be. Like, because here's the thing, I've flown to Florida like two dozen times, and this was like each ticket was like $200 more per ticket than they usually were. So I was like, fuck that shit.
Like, hold up, dude. Like, seriously though, I'm posting a picture of this guy. This guy is fucking insane. It was John Morrison. Like, those arms,
so built.
He looks jacked. That's a Street Fighter character.
Jacked. Like, yes, that's who he fought. And it's like, holy shit! Of course he's gonna lose. But he was actually a really good fight. The best fight, I think, there was one of the women's fight. It was. I'm like looking up all these names because I can't remember.
I heard last year also had a very good women fight.
Yeah. The fights just like the first two fights felt like last year's fights where they're just like, oh yeah, you can tell they're amateurs, and then the rest of them like picked up really quick on people who had been practicing.
Seems like good sequencing then. Build up the.
It was an entertaining night for something I don't normally do.
I know Alana Pierce and Aaron Hansen, which were my two favorites, won, and that's about it.
Yo, those are the ones I know, so I'm glad they won.
I went to Disneyland for the first time ever.
Yeah,
I've been looking forward to this.
I've been to Disneyland, Disney World. Like, I realized I've been to Disney World like 5 or 6 times now. Shit's crazy. I don't know why I've been to Disney World so much, but it's a decent place to go.
I don't know either. That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
It's weird, but the reason we went is because me and Kelly celebrated our 3-year anniversary.
Yay.
And every year for our anniversary, we now go to Disney. And that's the thing that we do. Because it happened the first 2 years by accident, and now she's officially made it so.
You know that officially makes you Disney adults. Like, there's no joke anymore. Right. I think like you have to in the government censor. In a government census, you have to put that down now.
Yeah.
I don't, because it's the first time I've been to Disneyland, and I learned that I think Disney adult is like people who love Disneyland. Like, I saw some TikToks of this girl freaking out over the Disneyland castle, and I was like,
you sent me that.
Yeah, and I sent it to Joe. I was like, people really act like this.
You're a high functioning Disney adult, but you are still in the category.
I got Joe gifts, so I don't think he's gonna complain at me.
No, never. I have one rule. If you go to Disney World without me, you bring me back a pin.
Did you get the helmet that you posted?
Oh yeah. I got. So
why shouldn't I get this? I was like, I have no argument.
Like, not only does Kelly get free tickets, but she also gets like 40% off on everything.
Sheesh.
So I walked out of there with like 4 or 5 souvenirs, including a gift for like $150, which is cheaper than the tickets.
Nice.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
Great time.
Yeah.
Wife is best.
But you said, now, like, I might have seen something about you saying that the actual Disneyland is not that great.
Disneyland is mid. Disneyland is extremely mid. California Adventure is pretty damn cool. California Adventure is really cool in my opinion.
It's a different park, right?
Yeah, so that's like
literally across the street.
It is. We walked, I think, 11 miles or 13 miles total that day.
Yeah.
We walked back and forth between the parks like 6 times. We were there from the open till fireworks.
Nice.
Yeah, we rocked all day. We got to ride the Cars ride, which is a downgrade of Test Track.
Mm-hmm.
But it's Cars
themed. Bar already.
Yeah. The Incredicoaster was a well-received surprise, and that ride was fucking dope.
Nice.
Incredicoaster is very good. That's a great roller coaster.
Incredicoaster was hella cool. Like, when I walked into Pixar Land, it's all carnival and boardwalk themed.
Pixar Pier.
Yeah. I was like, this is like it seems cheesy, but once you get in, it's like, okay, this is pretty well done. Like, good job. It's nice.
Have you seen the Defunct Land video about California Adventure?
No, but I'm gonna watch it now.
Yeah, you should. It's very enlightening to Mike Eisner's methodology, whose idea was like, we should make a new theme park next to Disneyland. Like, all right, great. What should the theme be? California. You fucking shitting me? You're making California themed park in California?
Michael Eisner's a fucking genius. Californians are so self-delusioned about shoving their own heads up their own ass. Ooh. That's why they think Disneyland is the fucking greatest shit on the planet.
I hate to break it to you. It did so poorly they had to like take down all the California shit.
I guess Californians need to love.
It is literally still called California.
It is still called that, but they have very heavily gone away.
It's more like an adventure in California as opposed to a California adventure.
They still have some stuff there. Like some of the restaurants are still themed that way. We had a nice reserved dinner, and it's it's pricier. Well, here's the shit thing about like getting reservations for dinner at Disney World. The outside world has caught up to how expensive Disney World dinner is, so it was just like a regular fucking meal. I found out like the same thing is happening at the airports. You know how like airport McDonald's used to be like so crazy to eat at, expensive? Outside McDonald's has caught up to it, so now you're just eating at regular like priced food.
It's we are definitely in not a great economic state right now. I don't think so. It's tough times.
California was cool. Like the Incredicoaster was very nice. We rode another ride. Guardians of the Galaxy ride. Holy shit. I thought I would be upset by them taking away like a Tower of Terror, which was like a staple. Like, absolutely fucking not. If they did what they did to Tower of Terror to every ride at Disney World, I would not be fucking mad at all.
High praise.
Like, that was such a good ride. Definitely, like, it's nice to have Tower of Terror at Disney World and, like, Guardians at Disneyland. But holy shit, would I not be mad if they revamped that entire section of Hollywood Studios to be Marvel themed? The Marvel area was really cool.
Nice.
It's cool. I wish it was bigger. Like I wish they took over more of the park for it.
Yeah.
Give it time unless the MCU dies.
We rode a Spider-Man ride called Web Slingers, which is like the Toy Story pop ride, but you have no guns. You just shoot your hands out like little web slingers. Like your hands are the guns, and it's really fucking cool.
Yeah, pay-to-win attachments. Did you know that?
What?
You can get stuff in the gift shop. I don't think it's pay-to-win, but like you can get like web blasters in the gift shop, and you can customize the web blaster, and like your web shows up different on the ride when you use it.
That's so fucking cool. Because you're only winning against yourself. Like the competitive scene for web slingers has to be like 300 people who give a shit.
I think it's like 50. Come on now.
Okay, yeah. Like they show up, like their morning workout is they show up to Disneyland, get their high score, and then they go to work. Like that's their fucking routine right there.
It's like a fucking 3-hour event to get their little morning workout.
Holy shit! I went to go find this episode of Funkland to show Tyler. The dude literally posted 2 hours ago a new video, so I know I'm watching all this.
Crazy
show content. If I've ever seen one. So Bradley, you've also been to Disneyland, right?
I have been to Disneyland.
So I'm the only one. I don't know if I have any good reason to go there, so that might just be.
We could go during anime convention, July 4th.
I guess if I get like a friend a gift from Kelly, then maybe I'll go. Cause I'm pretty Disneyed out, but like whenever I think that, I remember the pizza at Epcot, and ironically enough, that's what kind of makes me change my mind a little bit.
Yeah, it's the food, right? It's like
the food's good.
It was all those small things. I told Joe this. I was like, Joe, I miss Disney, but I don't miss Disney World. I miss, like, just a small group of friends going to Saratoga and looking for food.
Oh, fucking fly guys, chuck guys, chicken guys.
Like, that's what I miss. Like, the day off where we didn't go to any theme parks and we just sat around Saratoga Springs. My favorite vacation day fucking ever.
Day off is so good.
Day off is actually peak Disney, I think. As someone who loves going to the parks, but there's nothing better than just like waking up to like a very plush hotel with very nice amenities and just kind of like relaxing. There's some like weird kind of effect of knowing that like I could be at the park right now sweating, but I'm also at the pool drinking some great beer and Coca-Cola, and I can go get chicken guys down the street in like 5 minutes and be happy.
That was
might be the bougiest statement we've ever said on this podcast.
It's
but
true.
You know what? We deserve
bougie.
this. We needed this.
I always push for a break day, but I know also sometimes it's not in people's budgets to have a break day.
True.
But yeah.
And then lastly, so yeah, Disneyland, not bad. I really had fun. Because I just got to hang out with my girlfriend all day.
That'll do it.
Yeah, that really will. And like we weren't stressed to ride every ride. We were just like, yeah, we'll ride whatever the fuck we feel like. Like who gives a shit?
This is why I like small groups.
Small groups do have that benefit. Yeah.
Hey, once in a lifetime, you take 16 people to Disney.
Yeah, and then two of them die.
Once in a lifetime, you get a field trip.
Two of them did die. Nice. We've lost some soldiers in this war.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too bad. And then I watched Suzume, which is a new anime movie that came out.
Is that made by the people that do Your Name?
Yes. Yes, it would. Okay. Yes, it is.
It's the new one in the trilogy of sadness.
Oh God! Like if it is like if that's people's mentality and Your Name is anything similar, like, and people say that's like the saddest anime ever, I think I'm broken.
Maybe not ever, but Your Name hits.
I don't know. This movie's not bad. The music in this movie, amazing. Animation, very good. Story, not bad. But it feels like they tried to do a lot of things. Like, I feel like they tried to hit a lot of themes, and they just kind of hit all of them subpar. Mm-hmm. Which they're not bad themes. It's like an interesting coming of age, figuring out what you want out of life story. As this girl and this guy go across journey across Japan, doing thing I will not say because it kind of spoils the movie a little bit.
Sure.
If you haven't seen the trailer. Yeah, I would recommend it if you're looking for something to watch, like in these coming months, and it's on streaming. I would highly recommend it. You won't waste your time.
Cool. I've seen zero of their movies.
I like Your Name. I don't know if anyone else has seen Your Name. That's a solid movie.
The trailer for this movie, you may have seen it on like a YouTube ad or something.
I think in the theater I saw it.
It's like have you seen a door around here? Like, no. That's the first line in like the trailer or whatever.
Mm. I've seen the door standee at movie theaters as well.
Yeah. That's it. That's all I've been. I'm like 2 sections away from finishing Pact.
Whoa. Okay. Well,
oh my god.
Oh, yeah, I'm on arc 13 or 14.
Good old not Duress. I forget what that one's called.
I'm on Cinedia 14.
Oh yes, Yes.
That's my favorite opera singer.
Sindai. Who knows how to say it?
Yeah. Shit is insane. I actually had to cut myself off because I was reading too much. I was like not getting work done because I'm just sitting there with like, I found the podcast online and I'm just sitting there reading or listening to it at work. I'm like, I'm not getting any work done. I need to fucking stop.
Okay, can y'all audiobook and podcast audiobook at work? Because I cannot.
Depends on what I'm working on.
Bradley, I know you've been audiobooking a lot. Where do you stand?
I've mostly been audiobooking when I drive to and from work or when I'm like playing Kingdom Hearts or something.
It's such a good grind activity. That's true.
It really is.
Since I don't drive to work, it's been real bad because I'm catching up to Bradley and Mother of Learning 4, which we'll talk about soon if anyone out there is interested in that. But yeah. Anyway, I like. Only on a Friday, if I have nothing going on and I don't have a YouTube video to watch, I'll be like, okay, I'll try to audiobook a little bit. Because I have to focus too much. That said, I drive so much while audiobooking. It sounds counterintuitive, but it just works. My brain can do it. I can go now. I wanted to just very quickly talk about some of the anime and manga I've been catching up on. I've been plugging away to get data points for our future anime re-rankings.
Yeah.
Tyler, please, I'm begging you, please send me a list of the shit you've watched because you're so hard to keep track of.
I need to make sure Megalobox is
Do I
on
need
there.
to add the hentai that I've watched?
Look, if it'll be funny to talk about, I want to hear it.
All right.
And also send me a list to double check.
Okay, yeah.
Shut up. And also, the isekais you watch are very hard for me to keep track of, so you need to help me out here.
You don't remember all 30 that time I got reincarnated as the strongest guy in another world?
I remember Slime and Devil is a part-timer, which is not an isekai.
It's a reverse isekai.
It's a reverse isekai.
This I know. Okay, so let's go over some of the series I've been watching. I'll start with Demon Slayer, because I talked about it last podcast. I watched the Entertainment District arc.
That's a good one.
Has been the arc that's been hyped up since the start. And I gotta say, it's probably the best one. You guys are right. Some of the things I like in it. And did y'all watch Joe, you read it, but Tyler, did you watch the anime version of it as well?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I watched the anime.
The anime version is a very good adaptation.
Yes, I went back and read the final fight because I just think it's funny how insane the anime goes with the fights. They're still capturing it, but they just do it way crazier. They'll take one panel and turn it into like an insane 13-second going through the planet sequence. That said, it's got the best fights in the series. I like the woman with the the female demon and her like kimono attacks.
Evelyn from League of Legends.
Yeah.
You like the demon and her two-tail combo attacks.
Yeah.
This arc has titties everywhere. Jesus Christ.
Well, I mean,
it's the red light district.
It is the red light. You know what? Fair enough. But I was like, bazingas all over. Because there's also the three wives, which I will say, Tengen? Is that the guy's name?
The ninja?
Yeah, the sound guy. I thought he was fun and better than Rengoku. I know people really like Rengoku.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
This guy is
100%.
Rengoku is a stepping stone in the overall plot, and Tengen is
a real ass character. I felt.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Who also seemed like he had that depth, not just in the anime but the manga, because the anime had to do a lot in the movie to make Rengoku more interesting, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely.
And like this was a solid arc, but then you get to like the back 5, and that's when I got like actually pretty invested. I think it's got like a really good climax. Man, that like final sequence with like Tanjiro crawling away from the brother demon. I thought that was really good. This show needs to do a better job at introducing villains, though, because they just fucking show up, and you're like, okay, I guess you're the main fight now.
So the point of all of Demon Slayer is the villains just show up, and then you get the backstory after they've been fighting for 10 episodes.
And this one was a pretty solid This was what was missing. Something felt off with the Mugen Train. It didn't have that Tanjiro empathy that like kind of carries the show from being mid for me. It's like I think Tanjiro is like the final spice because I think he's actually like a pretty enjoyable protagonist. So that was good. I will watch the ongoing season soon.
You got to enjoy Tanjiro and his harem of idiots.
I will say this upcoming season I really was not, I don't say not a big fan, but like I feel like that like compared to this one I was just very disappointed. The
Swordsmith arc. I think I'll like it better than Mugen Train. I don't know.
Oh, I liked it better than Mugen Train, but it just was
not everything's gonna be better than Mugen.
I'm looking forward to this being animated for one reason, Joe.
So you can see what actually happened.
Yes.
Oh, this is the arc with the masks. Y'all told me about this, but you couldn't tell who's who.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody is the exact same fucking character.
Oh, that sounds awful.
It would have been funny if like that was incorporated into the plot, but it wasn't. It's like, God damn it.
That's so good. Okay, cool. I'm looking forward to that. I've watched Mob Psycho for the first time. I watched season 1 and 2, and I'm starting on 3. I think only Tyler's watched Mob, right?
I've watched a few episodes of Mob.
I've only seen like a few. Lovely artist's painting of Mob on my wall.
Yes,
I love Mob.
Yes, you do.
That picture is sick. I mention it every time I see it when I come over.
I really enjoyed Mob. Big surprise. I don't love it. I was kind of hoping I would. That doesn't mean it's not worth it, and that doesn't mean I don't like it a lot.
You watch those intros, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it a hot take to say that the first intro is way better than the second?
Yes. No.
Okay.
No. The first one is the best.
Okay.
They get worse as they go on.
The third one's kind of weak.
The third season redeems itself at the end.
Ooh.
The intro or the season?
Well, the entire third season I enjoy a lot.
Okay.
But it redeems the first... It redeems the intro being bad.
My takeaway with Mob is that I like the characters a lot, and I like a lot of the messaging. I don't think the plot hits. Like, whenever they start actually, like, building up a big arc, I don't think it's that interesting. But also the standalone episodes aren't, like, super interesting either. But I think it's really carried by the insane animation. I think that goes without saying. But the characters are really good, in my opinion.
The show is a lot about, like, Mob's growth as a human.
Oh, yeah.
And each season follows a different theme, where it becomes, like, the first is, like, man versus nature, where he's fighting a lot of spirits more. And then as we get to that end, it goes into man versus man.
Season 2 is also man versus self a lot, where like a lot of it is Mob. Like, they set it up pretty early, like taking his powers too far, and when you're watching, like, that final fight, like, it is a struggle for him. Like, he's bouncing back between trying to, like, talk no jutsu the guy down versus just going crazy and killing him. I thought it was really good. The episodes with the Reagan press conference, Tyler, that shit was incredible.
The Reagan press conference?
There's a point in season 2 where Reagan gets, like, found out, and he has to do, like, a press conference to defend himself. Damn, you don't... Because this is, like, the peak of the show for me, so...
Dude, it's been, like, 6 years.
Fair. Especially since season 2. Just to say that that's definitely my favorite bits of the show.
What does he get found out about?
The fact that he's not a real psychic.
Like, he finds out, like, he wasn't famous, was he, at one point? Was he?
Something happens to where he's brought into the limelight, and then they start talking about him on the internet, and it just kind of snowballs into, like, people... It's like a dead-ass Reagan cancellation arc, where they, like, people start becoming angry at him falsifying these things, and he's like, oh, he harmed people and he stole their money, even though he's been helping people along. Anyways, it's great. It's peak.
Reagan is great.
Mob is definitely my favorite character, though. And shout outs to God, I never remember his name. The brother and Dimple, of course. Dimple's very sweet.
Yeah. Season 3 is very big. How many episodes in are you?
Just one.
You'll find out really quick. I mean, it's the last plot, like, point of those major 4 themes. It's like man versus nature, man versus himself, man versus man, and then there's one more.
Man versus Suzume. I hope... Okay. You don't have to say anything, but I hope Suzume becomes a real character by the end.
Who is Suzume?
His crush. You could just nod and smile. You don't have to say anything. Yeah. And then I've caught up on some manga real quick. So, oh god, no, where are my notes? Where'd you go? Sakamoto Days is really good right now. It's doing... So, Jujutsu Kaisen is about to come back, and it's going to go into an arc called Hidden Inventory, which is a flashback arc.
Did you finish the Death Game arc?
No, I've been waiting. You don't know. I don't know what I should do with my life because of you.
This was me with Demon Slayer.
Yeah, it's tough because. Anyway, let's not get into it now, but we need to talk. Anyways, the hidden inventory arc is kind of what Sakamoto Days is doing, where they're doing a flashback between like Sakamoto and the main antagonist. It's pretty good. That's a very fun series.
I thought, oh shit, yeah, they did start a flashback arc.
Yeah, it's like the next thing that's going to be in the anime.
And Sakamoto Days doesn't have an anime?
Sorry, the flashback...
Wait, sorry. You do remember I am concurrent with Sakamoto Days, right?
Wait, what? Since when?
I don't know. I just read it all a few months ago, and I think I'm like 6 chapters behind.
Are you thinking of Dan to Dan?
No.
Oh
I'm
my
all the way
god.
caught up on Sakamoto
you
Days.
snuck up on me. Okay, I didn't know you even knew what that was. Yes, they started a flashback
I like
arc.
the deer antler guy who they killed and then I'm not dead.
The cyborg guy, he's good.
Yeah.
Anyways, My Hero. God damn it.
Oh my fucking god.
What, do you have something to say?
I get YouTube shorts about My Hero right now, and I had to block them.
I just love keeping y'all up to date to My Hero because I feel like for Bradley and Joe, your entire opinion on My Hero depends on how I feel about it that week.
Exactly.
It's not awful. It's not awful because some cool stuff happened for Ida, who's the fast guy, and Todoroki, who's the ice guy.
It's the man.
Most recent chapter was good for them. Man, this one. I say it all the time. All for One sucks. He's such a bad
Willer. But here's the real question. I have a question for you.
Sure.
Judging based off of what happened to Ida, how similar do you think that is of a concept to Blackbeard in One Piece?
Ida, the fast guy?
And Bakugo. Oh, sorry, not Ida. Who's Edge? Edge. Sorry, both D's.
Wait, what is he? Yes, the guy who became a heart like Rick and Morty. What is his relation to Blackbeard? I'm confused.
Oh, I saw someone speculating something that wasn't real then. Some guy was like, is Bakugo gonna get Edge powers now because Edge is one of his organs?
Sure, man. You know what's crazy, Tyler? I was talking about My Hero, and I was saying, it's not that bad. I had not thought about Bakugo's death and revival in so long, and you just had to fucking remind me.
I will never, dude.
Never mind, it's trash. Take it away.
Yeah.
I caught up with Ichinose Family Sins, which me and Joe have been on and off reading.
I'm about 6 chapters behind now.
The last stretch has been insane. I think and it's actually been the most invested I've been. The most recent chapter ended, and I could not believe what happened. There's been so many layers of world-changing revelations in that series in the last 5 chapters, and it's ridiculous, but it's kind of funny.
And we had this discussion in a Discord server. It's I bounced off the series because of that. I thought it was going really good.
See, it's working for me because it's.
I know it's
silly.
working for you, and I should pick it up again because But the thing is, I can't get a peg if this author knows what he's doing or if he's just kind of fucking around. So but I should check it in again because it is I think it could go somewhere potentially, but I need to see where.
I also don't know. But if he's fucking around, I'm finding out. That's all I know. And then I read the first 4 chapters of that Yush Jump series where they make movies, and all I'll say real quick is that I really like how that series takes its time to actually talk about the movie making process.
Yes.
It's not taking shortcuts. It's actually talking about some relevant stuff. And it's engaging, and it's by the guy who made Food Wars, and I haven't seen a single titty yet, so I think he's
which is a shock.
He's onto something.
He's trying out some new things. He's keeping it inside. It makes me feel like he was doing the horny thing as please read my manga, and now he's trying to do it with his writing instead. We'll see how it pans out.
You gotta get famous for something. You might as well get famous for titties.
I say that I'm not disparaging him. If you gotta use titties to get some eyes, you gotta do it.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta do sex sells.
It's a cutthroat industry, and you gotta have the boobies.
Look at Naruto. He had the fucking sexy jutsu.
It's like in the first, like the second chapter has the sexy.
It's the
jutsu.
third page.
Oh, I forgot. Okay, I've also been doing more Naruto here and there. Naruto continues to be great in the early parts. I'm liking it more and more. Even more than I used to, especially these early bits. I feel like I was someone who was like, the time skip's probably slightly better. I'm probably gonna come out of this thinking that it's significantly worse than the first part. Pain arc is still peak though. I remember that arc very fondly.
That could have been a show in itself.
And I'm just about at the end of the Soul Society arc in Bleach, which is about 130 chapters in or so.
Damn.
Man, Bleach good. I have a very hot Bleach take. I know you guys don't know Bleach very well, but do you know the character Kenpachi?
Yeah.
He's the guy who Ichigo fights. He doesn't have a Shikai or a Bunkai. He just fights with like a basic ass sword.
Eye patch man.
He's like everyone's favorite character. I actually think he's the biggest problem with the Soul Society arc, because there's a point where they're like
that is a hot take.
It is an incredibly. I've never seen anyone not love this guy or put him in S tier, and I do like him. But the problem is, Kubo goes on this like mini portion while Ichigo is training, where he's like, I want people to really like this guy, so I'm gonna have him betray the entire Soul Society and fight all of them just so he can get a rematch with Ichigo. And I think it devalues all of the Soul Society so much by trying to make them look cool. Where, like, I cannot take the villain group seriously. Because if you look at, like, how the villain group treats the situation of Ichigo and friends, like, 5 people infiltrating their masses, they just fall apart. These people suck. They do not know how to work together. And, like, there's like a mechanic in Bleach where you can sense people fighting from a distance. Yet, every fight conveniently breaks off into a 1v1 that, like, cleanly ends, and no one shows up and backs up, like, the people fighting the intruders. It's like...
I'm sure that'll be fine.
It's a really good arc, though. The hype moments are great. But, like, Kubo does take some shortcuts to do cool stuff. He's very much a cool stuff over logic.
Rule of cool.
Yeah, rule of cool.
I should read Bleach again. I got really into it. I think
the manga is so much better than the anime.
Yeah, I think I got halfway through Hueco Mundo before I stopped. And I think it was at that point where I actually caught up to the series, and I was just like, I'll just wait until more chapters. I pulled a Willer.
That's like 10 years ago.
Yeah, like I read it a lot. Like I was really big into. Like I was reading 2 of the big 3 nonstop. The other one. And then the one I wasn't reading was One Piece. Funny enough.
Yeah, One Piece mid after all.
Yeah, it's a terrible show. No one dies.
It's true. And that's all I got. So, I'll quickly talk about John Wick 4 as well. It'll basically be a quickie.
Yeah.
Have y'all watched the John Wicks? And which ones have you watched?
I have not seen any of them.
Except I haven't seen 4.
I am on John Wick 2. I have not finished it yet.
Damn, you're mini-series it.
I kind of am.
I do that with a couple of movies. I get you. 2's my favorite, and I think it still is. But 4 might be my favorite if I think on it. 4 is really good. 1 is my least favorite, which is the hottest John Wick take you can have because everyone swears by 1. I think 1, if you didn't watch, like, if you watch 1 and then you wait a couple years to watch 2, I could see 1 feeling better. If you go from 1 to 2, 2 is just, in my mind, objectively cooler and better. Bradley, I think this would be a fun little project for you to do. I feel like it's like a Kingsman type situation where you could just binge the 4 of them in, like, the span of a couple of weeks and have a good time.
Yeah.
The world building gets, like, pretty goofy but fun in, like, 3 and 4. 4 has an ending, and I'm not gonna spoil it, but I don't. I think the fan base is split on what happened at the ending, and I'm on a particular side. I'll just say that I'm doubtful, and we'll just leave it at that. Cool. And then what else is going on? Mandalorian season 3, Joe. You're finally back on the Star Wars.
I did it. I'm back. We're gonna do a quick TV series block with Joe. I don't know if "quick's" the right word here, but Mandalorian season 3. If I were to give an amount of content I liked about this show, I'd give it about 60%. I think I really liked Mandalorian season 1. I thought that was Jon Favreau really saw Star Wars and was like, how can we use this universe in the way to tell stories? And I think he did a really good job with it. I really, really like Mandalorian season 1. And then this is going to be like a blasphemous thing to say. Dave Filoni needs to calm down.
Who is Dave Filoni?
Dave Filoni became the showrunner of Star Wars Clone Wars, if I'm remembering this correctly. And Star Wars Clone Wars is great. I think that's a great animated series. I love the whole series. And it's one of the shows that like I'll put on and like rewatch in segments. And the ultimate final like season of the show, its finale is phenomenal. It's like it couldn't have been more perfect. Problem with Dave Filoni is that he really wants to be Oda in terms of bringing characters back and having people go like, oh, look, it's that person. But they feel so ham-fisted that it's distracting. This is especially prevalent in Mandalorian season 2.
Yeah, I know Luke shows up in hologram form.
Luke shows up
CGI form.
Yeah, Luke shows up. Ahsoka shows up. Like it's just way too much. I think.
My favorite Star Wars joke is Glurp Shido, where
yeah.
Have you heard of Glurp Shido, Joe? My favorite Star Wars character, yeah.
Yeah. So it just kind of aggravates me that like, and part of it's Disney saying like we want to be interconnected and want these things to tie together. It's like, okay, whatever. So Mandalorian season 3, like the biggest problem with it is that they set up all these tension nodes, like these plot points that are like, ooh, this is gonna be interesting to come like a good point of conflict that's gonna happen in the next season. And they just all get resolved with no conflict whatsoever and way too quickly. Like it would be like,
is it just so the character could show up and have a small little storyline and then peace?
Not even. So like, for example, in the book of Boba Fett, which I don't even go into like how fucking stupid this is. Like in terms of like let's have a Mandalorian mini season in the middle of this show.
This is good. I missed this.
In the book of Boba Fett, Din Djarin, the titular character, gets excommunicated from his like Mandalorian convent because they're like, you can't remove your helmet. You removed your helmet, you're fucking out. He also has the Darksaber, which is essentially the Excalibur of Mandalore. Like if you hold the Darksaber, you are king of Mandalore, kind of the thing.
Wait, who is wielding it?
Din Djarin, the main character.
I thought he made it.
No,
I thought his name was Boba Fett. What is happening?
No, god damn. Boba Fett is a Mandalorian. He's a different Mandalorian. The Mandalorian, played by Pedro Pascal's name, is Din Djarin.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Sorry, go on.
So he gets excommunicated. He also holds like the sacred sword that's like basically whoever wields this is the king of Mandalore, basically the ruler of Mandalore. And that's a really important plot point because another character that gets introduced or reintroduced is Bo-Katan, who is like the biological heir of Mandalore and wants to get the sword back, but they're on good terms and like each other, like as friends. So and you can only get the sword if you beat the other person in combat. That's a huge point of contention, is that you have to win it by battle. And so like these are great points of like character, like self-respect, like retrospective, because like you get into like a conflict of like there's the Mandalorian sect that is literally people that have lived on Mandalore and like are refugees of that planet, and then there's the people that are not necessarily from Mandalore but practice its religion, and so they're kind of like at odds of like who's the rightful people of Mandalore, and like that's an interesting thing you can work with. We're gonna throw that all out the window and we're just making good friends now that can take over the planet or get the planet back, and it just was very disappointing, I think. And like they do this stupid like Well, actually, Malfoy didn't kill Dumbledore. It was actually Severus Snape, and then because Severus Snape killed Dumbledore, he gets the Elder Wand. But because Harry just started fucking Alan Rickman in the movies, he's actually like, it's this whole bunch of bullshit about the sword, and it just was really disappointing, like how they just dropped all these plot points. It would be like if Luffy walked into like the big battle royale for One Piece, and it was just like, all right, everybody, give up. And everyone like, yeah, all right, cool. Luffy's Pirate King now. And that's it.
It's gonna happen. You just willed it into existence.
Yeah, that is how it's gonna happen.
Yeah. So I just felt like it was like a lot of wasted potential in the season, and there's some good parts I really liked, but it felt like they just didn't really want to, like, they played it too safe and they didn't want to like have people fight each other, and I think that's really disappointing. Very like
it's
childish.
like, is it one of those like Godzilla versus Kong where it's like we can't make one of them look bad because we might use them in the future or something?
I just feel like, I think a big part of it is Giancarlo Esposito plays like the big bad of the series, and I think he was just like, I want this to be my last season, and so they're like, well, we gotta rush through all these plot points we're building up to, because the other kind of twist we find out in season 3, and it's not really foreshadowed and it's like really poorly done, is that Gus Fring has taken over Mandalorian and is using it as his secret like cloning base kind of a thing. Ooh. That he's making his own army. And so now you have like 3 different like groups that could potentially be fighting over this thing.
The length this man will go to stop Lalo is just,
it's absurd. True. Like that's why he captured Baby Yoda, because he was going to take his DNA and give all of his clones force powers.
That's real. Okay, we're just
yeah, that's his whole plot. It was just it was really disappointing. There was some stuff in there that I really liked, but a lot of it was just like, come on, gang. Like, I expect better, which is terrible to say.
Is it true that Baby Yoda is like 80 years old?
Yeah.
That is fucked up.
Yoda was, I think, 250 years old when he died. Maybe it was 500. I'll have to double check. But he was nearly a century. Yeah. So after that disappointing amount of TV, I was just like, I need to find something else to watch. So I found a show on HBO Max called Perry Mason. And before I go into this, does anyone know what a Perry Mason moment is?
If I had to guess, a Perry Mason moment would be like a courtroom drama. You just said the thing you weren't supposed to say, kind of twisty moment. That would be my guess.
It's very close. It's basically like, the words of the definition is, a piece of evidence or questioning brings about a fundamental shift in the courtroom that often causes a turnabout.
I was about to say, you're explaining a turnabout for Ace Attorney. Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah. I am 90% confident that this man's the inspiration for Phoenix Wright. I say that because there's a lot of plot points that happen that are basically the same plot points from the first Phoenix Wright game.
Okay, how old is this show? Old or like?
So this show itself is not that old. The first season came out in 2020. Perry Mason came out in like 1946.
I see. He's like a Sherlock Holmes kind of.
Kind of.
Yeah.
But he's a defense attorney. Like, that's how he starts. That's like the whole thing. And I loved season 1. I binged all 8 one-hour episodes in a single night. Damn. I thought this show was fucking phenomenal. I think it's got a great mystery. I think the guy who plays Perry Mason does a great job. And Perry Mason, the show, is like a divorce. It's set in 1932, I should point out. Is a divorced man, veteran from the war, that was dishonorably discharged from the war in a method that's usually reserved for people who are cowards or gay, as what was described in the show. And so he was not actually. There's an episode where he reflects on it. And so the first season's all about like this baby gets kidnapped, and it's pointed to the point where, like, you know, they think that the mom used the baby to like as a way to like get money from her husband's rich father, and was going to use it to run away with her lover. And so Perry Mason has to defend her that she didn't kill her own baby. And so like it's a whole mystery. It's got great courtroom antics because Perry Mason doesn't start off as a defense attorney, but he has to end up rising to the occasion. And what I really like about the show is that it's about a bunch of people that have failed in their lives, but have seen this moment to help this one person, this one woman, and go like, this is what I'm going to do to redeem myself. And I am going to go down swinging, and I am going to fight against this corrupt system. And I am going to prove that there is some sort of good in the world, even if it has to come from me.
That's a like fun vibe to base the story around.
It is dark a little bit, and it's a lot of like more moral grays that are happening because the system's so corrupt, you have to work around it, or you have to like bribe the right person, or you have to lie to get the things you need. I think it's a great show. I highly recommend it. The first season especially. The second season's good. It didn't hit as well as the first season did, but I might give it a rewatch. But I really like the pacing of it.
And there's only two? There's
only two.
Will there be a third?
That's the question. I really, really hope so. I think like the problem is like HBO put it in like a Monday time frame, and then like I literally had seen no marketing for the show until like I literally turned on HBO Max and I saw like new episode this week. I'm like, what the fuck is this show? And I watched it. I want to point out, Willer, to add more to this Phoenix Wright thing, there is a woman in the show that believes she talks to God and spirits and says that I will talk to the murdered person to figure out who killed them. And I was just like, what?
I mean, look, I'm not going to say that's directly influencing Phoenix Wright, surely. Maybe. But like spirit mediums in law, I could see you drawing a connection.
But there's like one other plot point that happens that I don't want to really spoil, but like,
but don't tell me, but I want to know.
But like that was just like, what the actual fuck? This is literally what happens in 1-2. It's so weird. But I really love the show. I think, Willard, that you should definitely give it a shot. And I think like if you are wanting a mystery, I think that's a great show to watch too.
Throw it on the list.
Yeah. All right, but those are my two like TV shows I watched. Also, I started watching Love Island like last night as Shits and Eagles. That show is garbage. It's like literally just like we want people in bikinis all the time in tight swimsuits.
Here's my take. Wow. You guys might. I know what you guys say behind my back, and you say that, oh, Willer's the trashy reality show watcher. I know I know the conversations you have. Even I wouldn't touch Love Island with a fucking 10-foot pole.
It's true. No one should watch that show. It's actually awful.
More importantly, it's boring. I think that is a boring show. I couldn't even put it in the back. It was that bad.
I started watching it because I saw my sister this weekend, and we were talking about reality TV shows, and she mentioned how like it'd be really funny if I went on Love Is Blind or Love Island. I'm like, first of all, that's fucking insulting. Secondly, I want to see what you're saying to me.
I want to see what you're cooking. Like, how are you roasting me? I need to know.
Yeah.
I've heard that you're supposed to start with season 2, and that didn't feel right for me, but I think they were right. I think I should have started with season 2 if I wanted to throw it in the back.
Yeah,
but whatever. It brought me to Survivor because it was so trash. So
Survivor is very good. But anyways, Perry Mason's a great show. I think people should check it out.
Great. How about you, MiHoYo boys? Tell me about Honkai Star Rail.
That's me, right?
Yeah, a bit of me. I played about 3 hours of it, I think.
And not Bradley still?
Not Bradley.
Whoa! Look Bradley, at him. You sound so healthy.
I was about to say, I want to give you a pat on the back.
I just here's the thing. One MiHoYo game is enough to sell your soul away to.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. Here's the thing. I just don't know if I like the setting and the characters at a glance as much. And like, here's the thing. I haven't experienced any of it. It's just like at a glance, it doesn't instantly look fun to me the way Genshin did in the trailers.
I feel like Bradley's very aesthetics driven here, and
very.
He needs those Genshin characters, I think, and you like the environments in Genshin.
Those
as well,
inspired right? Genshin character designs, pushing the boundaries.
Look,
of what can be done.
I know you're being sarcastic, but you're voicing my opinions. But we don't need to get into it. Let's talk about Guardrail.
I didn't even know this was a game coming out.
Same.
And I've never cared about it.
Hold on. I thought their new game was Zone, right?
Endless Zone Zero.
Yeah, I thought so. That's what I initially thought was their next game. So this is surprising, actually.
Yeah. MiHoYoverse is going to take over every single gacha game that they're going to try and take over all of gacha gaming as a whole.
True. They probably should.
They have perfected not only their character design formula, but they are driving home their UI and mechanics to perfection. This is a Genshin reskin. The UI is the same.
Yeah, I saw a picture.
The characters are the same,
and it looks the exact same. Like
the
text.
NPCs are the same. The text is the same.
Mm-hmm.
Writing's a little bit different. Writing has some spice to it. It seems like they had fun writing this one, which is nice. Like, there's some dialogue that's worth reading. Like, there was a moment where I hid inside of a wardrobe inside of a hotel, waited for room service to get there, and then I jumped out and assaulted him, and then they gave me an award for it.
Nice.
And then I threw it in a dumpster in the middle of the ghetto when I could have probably given it to somebody to save their life.
Okay.
All right.
That's some decision making. What does this game play like, by the way? I have no idea. I've never seen footage.
It's a turn-based game.
For the combat, I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what is, once you're out of combat, what is it like?
It's just walk around.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's not even a jump.
Are the environments pretty and interesting to explore? Okay.
No, not at all interesting to explore at all.
Okay.
Just pretty.
You know, it sucks because like as much as I grilled Genshin, I will always back up the exploration in that game.
They are level designed to be like RPG dungeons, classic RPG dungeons with winding areas with chests at the end. Joe, I don't think got to that point, but there's two facets to the game. There's the overworld, which has those winding dungeons with chests. Monsters are not random encounters. They are physical things in the world that you can like preemptively attack, like Persona. You can attack their weakness with a certain character prior to going in. That gives you a preemptive advantage in combat. It has a break system for weaknesses that doesn't really make sense. It adopts the same type of damage as Genshin does, where if you're not hitting them with the weakness, you are doing 0 damage to them. So that's a little odd. And it's not fun in that capacity.
Is it just a damage floor? Like your stats just aren't high enough to not do one?
Nope. In Genshin, if you are not hitting the shield with the right element, you are doing no damage.
Right. No, I have experienced that. True.
Yeah. And then it has a little bit more of an interesting in-game look than Genshin is having. So in Genshin, the gacha in-game for it is the Spiral Abyss, which is a monthly rotation of different encounters that you take your high-level people against. The end game in this one is not a set rotation, but a roguelike, where you take an initial party of 4 characters in. It has, like, the combat area, and then it's like, you get to a break point, or an event point, or a shop point. And then you have, like, passive abilities that you can stack onto your party as you continue on through this section of the roguelike. There's mid-level, there's elites, there's bosses. As you move through at your resting spots, you can also download additional characters into your party. So, like, if you know that, and that's advantageous because now you have, like, you only can still use 4 characters, but you have access to 5 or 6 as opposed to just those 4. So you can rotate some characters, for weakness hitting and stuff. So it's not terrible in that sense yet. Like it's the beginning of Genshin Allure again. You know, it's fresh. They throw you a lot of shit at you.
Undoubtedly, it'll get better too. You know how they operate.
No, I don't see this game really progressing in the same capacity as Genshin. A lot of people probably really like that grind aspect of the simple turn-based RPG and what gacha games are more known for, which is those auto battlers like Pokemon Masters.
Yeah, like it's heavily about team build as opposed to like picking out your turn to turn RPG move.
Yeah, it has like an antithesis design feel for what like an RPG or traditional turn-based RPG is, where you have a character that has a class, they level up, they unlock new skills, you
totally
get to customize with them.
That's the mobile game kind of staple. That's how they design their combats often.
Well, I mean, that's how turn-based RPGs design them. This one doesn't do any of that like an RPG should, It's like, you get a character and that's how this character plays. You don't unlock any new skills, you don't unlock any new passives. Well, you unlock, the only thing you unlock is passives.
That's like, so in other mobile games, they like, you have your character and they have their one set functionality, and it's all about how you combine a team to like do a certain action. Which I do like that in those games, so I might like this.
Maybe. In the second tutorial of the roguelike section, it really shows you like what peak team comboing could be, where you go through the entire like section of the roguelike and you get all these passives that end up like permanently freezing all of the enemies that you're fighting. And it's just like chain reaction after chain reaction after freeze after burst damage. And it's like, okay, I see what y'all are cooking with. I see that. But you're going to make me play the story to get there, which it ain't no Genshin with world exploration.
Which definitely hurts. And boy, if it's anywhere near the length of Genshin conversations, that could get dicey.
These text boxes go a lot quicker. I can skip through them a lot faster than I could the other ones.
Good.
So there is one bad thing that I've been experiencing so far, and it has been like you we'll do some like dialogues, and then a boss fight will start like immediately following that dialogue, and I'm like, whoa, like I didn't prepare my characters to fight this, and you have to retreat, and in order to restart that encounter again, you have to like redo the dialogue. Now, one thing Genshin games don't have are a skip button through cutscenes.
Yeah, which
if you retreat from a boss encounter.
No, it can't be.
No, let me finish. They have a skip cutscene.
Okay.
Which means they could have implemented that into fucking everything.
No. You don't get it. You have to sit through it once. You gotta do it.
Fuck them.
You gotta do it.
You're morally obligated to watch the cutscenes if you're by yourself.
One of our friends is already like rank 34, level 50 characters.
Nice.
Yeah, he was the same guy who like maxed out all of his Genshin stuff too, and I was just like, oh god, that seems unhealthy. It's
guess. I'm gonna
like
I can take a guess.
It's literally like to the point of scaling, like how you use your daily currencies, how you level up your characters, weapons, rolls, pity, artifacts. It's literally a reskin of Genshin. Everything just has new names, new colors, same fucking UI.
You know what? Fuck it. I won't check this out. I don't. Why bother?
I would say try it out while it's free, but even I can't find myself getting addicted to it.
I'll wait for the PlayStation release because it'll be a better game by then, anyways. And
debatable.
Look, I've never played a gacha game that doesn't improve, even like with new mechanics or more interesting units or more interesting bosses and stuff like that. Like it'll be better. I'd be surprised if not.
Yeah, but still, it's mid.
Well, all right.
Word of the day.
Good to know. And Joe, you did play that much, so.
It's true. I bounced off of it pretty quickly. What's funny is that like I would have liked it a lot more if it was just a roguelike element and you just had to go through that and you just went around and talked to people for the cutscenes. But I had to move my person to go from place to place. And I didn't like that, so I bounced off of it.
Yeah. Joe, can we slide in another game in here?
What's up?
Willer father?
Yes, I will allow it.
What game are you talking about?
Joe and I played the Diablo 4 beta, which is also coming up again.
Oh, we've never talked about this. Yeah, y'all.
Did we
y'all
not talk
love
about
that.
this?
No.
Oh shit.
Never.
Oh,
God.
man, Diablo 4 is looking spicy.
Is this the
Diablo
one?
4 is looking very good. I will hopefully have a better time with it in the next beta or whatever. They're doing the server slam. Is it this weekend?
Yeah, Server Slam is this weekend, where they are trying to damage the servers as much as possible.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
I see.
We'll see if my computer can survive. Which is I was having some issues near the tail end of my experience there, but I think like Blizzard has really hit a good mark with this game. And I was really enjoying it. I think one of the big problems with Diablo in the past is, and a lot of just like RPGs in general that are like online based or have like big communities, is that the ramp up to feeling what it's like to be in the end game is way too long. And I feel like in this, they do a really good job of like sampling, like this is how you're going to build your character. This is where you can get more abilities. And I think that's really good because it lets me know like what the hell the game is going to evolve into. They have a great item system in place right now, or that we saw that was really good. I think the build dynamics are very diverse. Like I played a rogue character that's whole ability was basically I'm trying to remember exactly what I did here. But basically I could, if I comboed all my pieces together, I could make a whole group of enemies stunned for like 5 seconds. So like you could just sit there and like I could with elite mobs and just kind of like stun lock them, and I could have like Trevor and our friend clear them out for me, which was really fun. I do think, however, that like it suffers from every RPG problem, that the early bosses are just not fun. I think that they need to like figure something out. They're either like just beat sticks that just kill you really quickly, or they just really have very little mechanics, or they have very easy mechanics that are just you're able to bypass pretty quickly. And that's just the character enemy design.
I mean, it's always a question of how fast until we get to the good stuff, which for something like Final Fantasy 14 would be 120 hours, for example.
Yeah. I think like right from the get-go, as soon as like you get through like the prologue section, you get to the main city and you start exploring, I think it gets, and you get a really good taste of like what's to come. And so I think like immediately I was just like, all right, cool, we're vibing and we're going, and I'm feeling good, and I like playing the characters. I do hope that they have a multi-character like catch-up system, because I am not going to want to run that fucking prologue every time. And I hope that someone has a brain over there and be like, yeah, well, what if we didn't have them learn how to catch a Pokemon in every game?
You'll have to wait for patch 4.1 where the highly requested feature gets patched in.
Yeah.
Bradley, you're a Diablo boy? I don't remember. It seems like a thing you're into, because it's one of them RPGs.
I've tried playing Diablo 2 a couple times, and I just couldn't get into it.
Damn.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Keep me updated.
I like playing Diablo for the story.
That's interesting. I will say though, contrary to popular belief, here's the other thing about Diablo, that until I get to like the in-game content, I'm not really going to know how I should feel about it. Is I had a better time playing this alone than with people, weirdly enough. And then also the other thing about Diablo is that like everything scales to your level, which once again brings up the question: why do we have levels in video games if everything scales up? Like I just don't get it.
So like level scaling is an interesting debate.
Would you like the answer, Joe?
Yeah, go ahead.
So this is something that Destiny does, and it was, I think, mostly started around the first Guild Wars era. This is what's called horizontal scaling, where you are close to endpoint and you fluctuate between a set difficulty throughout most of the game. Yeah. This is like you have 80% of the monsters being on your level, Then you have elite monsters who may have like a yellow square around them, which means they're slightly more difficult. And then you have a red monster, which means, oh yeah, this thing will kill you.
I get that.
Yeah, and that's kind of how they justify difficulty. And it goes by symbols. And what these games really drive home is new ways to play. They don't give they increase the arbitrary level number that's like your world level or your armor score or your like they release the new raid weapons with the best passives. Yeah, but essentially like what Destiny does is they always drop new exotic weapons, new ways to play the game. So they're really probably going to drive home a lot of that. Like Diablo 4 had a lot of open world events. They're looking at like world bosses and stuff, more collaborative dungeons experiences with other party members.
Plus, don't you unlock more moves? And that's like really what the level.
You do.
They're really driving home character. They have a Path of Exile tree like as the late game experience.
I do love the level the tree system in this.
They're really catering to that hardcore audience that loves to just keep playing and getting the ability point, not the level up. They get the ability point. They unlock the new skill. They unlock the weapon with the good passive on it. It's not about levels, you know. It's about the horizontal progression, and that has a name.
Yeah, and I get that. I totally do. It's just one of those things, and this is like old man brain talking, and I really like that you get the ability point, and that's a significant increase to your power as you get to like immediately cash in on it. It's just I just hate that it's levels and like it's just a point where like if I am playing as a level 13 person, level 13 toon, and Willer's playing level 5 toon, we can run the same dungeon, which is great from a community standpoint. But it's also from like a failure from an immersion of power standpoint, because it's like Willer is just as easily killing these dudes as I am, where I have invested more time into playing this game.
You're definitely not alone. I don't know if I agree, but I've seen a lot of people on the internet.
That is also early game what you're describing.
It's true. It is the early. We obviously didn't get into the late game, so it may be like completely different and very hard later. But the point I'm trying to get across is that like I think in this game, in the Diablo in general, a lot of the abilities are more structured around killing things very fast and some CC stuff, but a lot of enemies are immune to CC, so you might as well just deal a lot more damage, but just in different ways. And it's always something where it's like having another party member, I don't feel that impact as much as I am too when I'm just alone.
You're becoming an antisocial gamer like me. This is bad.
Yeah,
you need to be safe.
Where it's like on the flip side, you look at Monster Hunter, and I play with Willer or Tyler. It's like you can immediately feel what it's like to have a good teammate and a bad teammate on your team.
No one flinches those monsters like Tyler. It's like his bread and butter.
That's why when you play Monster Hunter, or I play Monster Hunter, it feels really fun to play with y'all, because I feel like everyone brings something to the table, and like we're all making an impact in our own special ways. Whereas like in Diablo, when I'm running dungeons with people, it's just like there's just more dudes here. We're just killing them, and we're killing them at the same rate we would if it was just me with less people here, with less enemies to fight.
You can't compare everything to the GOAT, Joe.
I know, but like I can also just say like I want to feel like there's a reason to like bring another party member into the game.
I completely do agree with Joe though.
And like those world bosses I hear are very hard. I didn't get a chance to play them.
I was gonna say, I guarantee you, when you're doing hard raid content, you're going to want variety in your skill set. So you're gonna want people.
Yes, but here's the thing. I haven't seen we haven't seen the full capacity yet. We really haven't, because in this game all the characters do damage. And I'm gonna compare this to Destiny a lot, because in Destiny all the characters do damage. There's 3 classes, and each of those 3 classes have 4 subclasses, and each of those subclasses have 3 more subclasses. So that's the diversity and ways to play. And like there are support characters in those classes that like the Warlock has healing subclasses. The Titan has shielding abilities. But all of them have ways to do damage still. And this one, I didn't really see any things like heal your allies or provide a shield to people in your group, or anything of that sort. It all just really seemed like you are playing within yourself doing more damage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Go ahead. It's just one of those things where it's like I want more support. Like I want to be like, because I have Trevor on my team, we have abilities that link together in some way, and so it's really good for me to have those spec'd in when he's in with us, and then I can spec out of them later for whatever reason.
I'm sure you'll find synergies like that and like exploit them for harder content.
I'm sure.
Let it cook. Let it cook.
That's the thing too, is that like I'm more than willing to give the benefit of doubt to Diablo. It's just I've played Diablo 3 and Diablo 2, a little bit of Diablo 2 I should say, but a lot of 3, and I've seen what their end game is in that game, so it makes me hesitant about this game's end game. But they seem to be going a very different direction, so still excited. But it's also like I know what I've played before.
Keep me up to date because like this does not fit into my schedule. But if it's that good and you guys are having that much fun and there's room for one more, maybe I'll open up room. We'll see. Yeah. See what can happen. Jeez, this June's gonna be insane for me. But
my mother's retiring. She's gonna start playing Marissa. It's gonna be great.
No, she's gonna be. Man, I don't want to squeeze more stuff in, but I just want to like Joe finally beat Trails of Cold Steel, and I just give me your 2-minute review of that game and yours, how far you are in 2 as well. I'm curious.
2-minute review is Cold Steel is a very good JRPG. I think Tyler should 100% check out the series.
So I think it might make me very difficult to play it because in college we had this drink called Cold Steel the Hedgehog.
I mean, just they call it Trails. I don't give a shit. Very good JRPG game. I really like the characters. I don't think I was nearly as fond of the ending as you were, Willard.
What did you not? That ending's so hype. What do you not like?
I don't like Gundams. That's about it.
I don't know, man.
Other than that, Joe, what makes this a good art? What makes this RPG worth my time? And I'm going to say, I'm looking at a screenshot from the Steam page. Okay?
Look, it is a PS Vita game. Relax.
It is an old game. Relax. Hold on.
So, okay. But I'm going to say good things. I was going to say. So I'm looking at a screenshot of the middle of combat, okay?
I want you to throw the screenshot in the chat.
Combat fucks so hard in this series.
This image is I like a lot. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
We have a round UI menu, which... I'm a fan of. Cool. We have a up and down arrow above the attack button, which right now that character has a sword, and we have an up and down. I'm going to infer they have other weapons that they can switch to based off of that
Up and down would go to craft and arts, but your party members have the different weapons that you want. That do different things.
But also on the left side, we have a UI that shows the turn order of the fucking characters.
Oh, you don't know. You don't understand.
Let me tell you about the greatest part of this game.
There's a missing element. There's a missing element on the left.
Yes. So,
turn information is the best thing in turn-based RPGs.
Yes, I agree. Let me tell you how this operates. So you are correct. There's a turn order system. But the way the game works is that whenever you do an attack, it has like a delay value.
Yes.
Like a base.
It's great. Yeah. So that's good shit. Yeah.
And when you highlight the attack, it tells you where you're going to move in relative positioning of everything else.
No, guys, we're missing the most important part.
Are you talking about the links?
No, on that left, Tyler, and maybe you didn't figure out how to utilize this because it took me. It took me to like hour 90 to understand that I was playing the game wrong the whole time.
Yes.
On the left, there will be bonus bubbles that are like, the character of this turn gets HP, and the character of this turn will death blow the enemy, and all sorts of like crazy effects. There's a system where you can use a ton of your resources to skip a turn and skip in front of anyone. So the way you're supposed to play is like steal the enemy's buff turns that they would have gotten, or manipulate their delay with your like delay adding attacks to make sure one of your party members gets those buffs. It's super addicting, and what's not shown here is that you have full 3D movement on this map, and that kind of factors into like your attack ranges. It's very addictive.
How does it factor into just like AoE based attacks, or is it like you can't access certain skills at certain ranges?
Yeah, skills have both AoE ranges and max threshold ranges, so that it'd be both.
Yeah.
And your customization of the party is also really good.
It's also important because like there's different like AoE attacks. So like Jean here gets an AoE attack, quote unquote, that is just a straight line forward. So like you have to position yourself when you're hitting like certain enemies at an angle, so you hit them all.
Jean?
Who's the fucking main character's name?
Reen Schwarzer.
Oh,
put some respect on my goat's name.
Sorry. I have very important questions.
Yeah.
So, are they always in school uniforms? Is this what they look like for 90 hours?
Roughly.
In the first game, yes, but there are cosmetics that you get and can change your looks.
Also, they change outfits during the other seasons, so there's all that.
Are their weapons static as well, or do those change every time you equip them with something new? Like, the shotgun goes from silver to red.
The weapon does change. I'm pretty sure. Does it, Joe? I remember Reen having different swords. Am I crazy?
I can't. I don't
Maybe
remember.
not. Maybe not.
No.
Maybe not.
Oh no.
It's okay.
I might not be able to play this.
Oh no. You know they
if
change
Final
Persona?
Fantasy 3 can do it, this game should be able to do it. And wait, what did you just say?
Persona, I don't think does. No, it does. It does.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it does.
It does do that.
I'm scrapping.
Once again, it's a PS Vita game originally. So
okay, Joe. Final Fantasy 3 is a DS game. What do you want?
He's right. Look,
it's true.
We take the L. It is what it is.
But I still think you should check it out because I think
it seems pretty good.
This game hit everything I've wanted in a JRPG for a long time. And I just really, really liked it. The story's also good. It's not like
don't try to sell me on a good story. You know I don't give a shit.
No, but for Joe, all I'll say is for Joe to say that a JRPG story is good, it's pretty good. And I love this. Like this world got its fucking grips on me. I am so invested in the I'm invested in the lives of the fucking NPCs that don't even have like full names or character portraits that just walk around town. That's like the world building is fantastic in these games. But anyways, we already went longer than expected, but
yeah, great game. Highly recommend. In terms of Cold Steel 2, I just finished the second group of classmates I had to go find.
Holy shit, you are way further than me. Octopath 2 completely derailed all my JRPG plans.
That's your fault, I think.
It is my fault.
Is Octopath 2 not like is Octo 2 a bad time though?
No. Well, which we'll talk about now. Fuck it. Slide it in.
Wait, are we doing it live?
Yeah. I mean, it's already on the thing. I'm just gonna move it up.
We're already talking about it. Might as well just make it a smooth transition.
I wanted to hear Tyler talk about it because I talked about it last time, and Tyler is over halfway now.
Oh man, I'm on chapter 3s of a lot of characters, which I'm making good progress.
You are.
Like it's a lot better than my progress in the first game, which I did get to the 100-hour mark on. I will get there on this one as well.
One quick side note: we have been ragging on the Switch for multiple podcasts now. And yet, Tyler's busy schedule can only play this fucking game because it's a Switch game. So I just want to say that as a plus for the Switch because we've been a little harsh on it. But anyway,
it's the only thing because I have been traveling a lot.
Exactly.
Like, if it was on my phone, I would be playing it on that.
True. You are a phone gamer.
No, I hate mobile gaming with a fucking passion.
Say that to your Slay the Spire 200 hours.
I have that on every device. Okay, that's a different thing. That's a different problem. So yeah, I have this to say about Octopath. So far, it's been really nice. But there is a caveat to it. If you have played the first game, the quality of this game is reduced by probably 40 to 50%.
He says if you beat it. I don't agree.
I have not been shocked by any story revelations.
Oh, Tyler, Their writing is bad. I warned all of you. They're not good at this.
Willard, the world building, it will not surprise me. I know how this game is going to end. I can predict what the final boss will be.
Okay, you know what? Tell me what it is now, right? Like, I'm not going to confirm or deny. I just want you to put your ideas out into the world.
It's the world building has all been building into this dark cult. So, Temenos is the main character because that's where the cleric in both games reveals the most information about the Dark Shadow cult. The Dark Shadow cult is also tied to the dark monsters that the hunter is slaying, same as the first game. And these all culminate into like shadow creatures trying to take over the world, which is a subplot of the story Heroes of Light, which you are not in this game because there's no 4 crystals. There's 8 characters, and there's 8 legendary heroes, which are the gods previously mentioned in one of the chapters. All the chapters are going to culminate into focusing on each character's story's climax, and with that climax of the character, if you just look at it like that, you'll be like, okay, yeah, cool, that's like a really cool way to end the character. But if you look at it from a world building perspective, you'll see how if you ignore all the main characters' plots and look at what the enemies are doing together, you'll see the actual story of the world is like trying to be subverted by these dark shadow figures. There is a side quest that I think I maybe found the start of because I found the Book of Hell.
Even I didn't find that.
A side quest character is the main antagonist of the game.
What?
You do not run into them into any main story quest, any main plot, or anything like that. So it is a side quest character where you will do 3 or 4 steps of their quest. They will start the dark ancient ritual that each other main antagonist plot was trying to succeed with, because none of the real antagonists from your storylines know actually about the dark gods. Only the side quest character knows about the real dark gods that they're all trying to tap into. They unleash the dark gods, you go do a Crystal Tower gauntlet, ipso facto, you use all 8 characters in the final battle, and that's how the first game ends.
Okay, so let me know if that's... Because I'm not going to do the post-game, because I need to play other video games now. But let me know how that turns out, because I'm just curious.
Am I far off, though, about each, like, character's chapter 4 being like, look, oh, it's actually this dark, twisted thing, and someone's really out there, like, noggin?
And some of them, yes. I'm actually like, all I'll say to the other 2 is that Tyler is paying attention to this game way more than I did, and he is picking up on some stuff that I can confirm is real, and some stuff where you might be going off the rails, but I don't know.
It was really cool. I told Willer about this one thing. So all the characters have these character traits that allow you to interact with NPCs in the world other than just talking with them. The main thing is you have the thief character and you just go rob everybody in the fucking town blind. And that's how you play the game. So that's what you can do during the daytime. There's a nighttime system where you play as the scholar who's bent on revenge. Literally the same plot from the first one. Because he gets kicked out of... In the first one, he gets kicked out of... He gets kicked out of scholar school, and in this one, his family dies.
Okay, he got framed for murder. I think that is a different type of revenge story.
In the first one, he gets framed for something, too, and he has to reclaim his title. It's the same fucking
It's
shit.
intentional. They're trying to take similar themes, but take a different spin with the characters.
Each character in this game is a rehashing of a character from the first game. So they take the trait of the merchant and the setting of the hunter, and now that's the dancer character, and it's just a rehash. Like, I wouldn't even say like, yes, that's very black and white, but the stereotypes
remix is a nicer
the character
story.
Stereotypes are so strong that it's hard to ignore.
Like, I showed Tyler my character tier list, and it stretched like the character I hated the least. She went up from E tier to D tier at the very end, but like it was rough. A lot of them were C or B. You spend so much time reading the dialogue, and it's like just not great. I do not like the villains in this game.
The redeeming thing is this game is good. It's very good if you have not played Octopath 1. It is much better than Octopath 1. The stories are less generic. They seem a little bit more thought out. The characters are a little bit more interesting to hear talk most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It feels like it picks up a lot quicker if you choose the right starting character, but if you don't, oh boy, is that the worst part of Octopath series as a whole. I chose the merchant in the first game, and I had a really hard time because the merchant really fucking sucks in both games.
Here's the beauty, because I think I think it's like S tier support class. But your main class is going to be your highest level, and ostensibly probably either a buffing support or ideally one of the damage dealers. So
it is the best subclass and has the best class abilities to unlock, but just doesn't suck. Yeah. It has the best unlock ability if I'm pretty sure in the entire game, which is start each battle with full latent energy.
Hikari was like, for the final 15 to 20 hours of this game, random encounters were just a one shot by Hikari because I set him up to be that guy.
So I'm at hour 47. And I'm at the halfway point, probably, Willard, with the chapter 3s.
So my total playtime was in the 50s, like low 50s. So yeah, Tyler's doing his thing.
My highest level character is Hikari at 34, or 32, or 32, or 34. Then everybody else is like 27. Hikari is already doing that for me, and I have 0 points unlocked in the merchant for him.
He's ridiculous.
Starting with the warrior is like taking Mudkip to start Pokemon with.
It is.
It just makes the game entirely fucking easy. He's at level 28, hitting like 20,000 damage on bosses and one-shotting them. Shit's fucking great. It's made the game much more tolerable for me.
The system's fun to break. That like a good JRPG is like you get to experiment and find new ways to break it and deal with bosses. It's great.
They really do try to shove as many other classes from Bravely Default into each class in this game. Like the apothecary has skills and mixing and the subclass, and whatever else they do. Each character does like 3 different things. Each class does a lot of things. So they only have, I think, 13 classes total.
Because recently I played Final Fantasy V, and I noted that is like each class does a few things, and you have to like learn to use them all. But here it's like the classes are pretty kitted out.
Yeah, it's an interesting way to build a turn-based RPG, especially like around only 8 characters. I think it's done really well. The progression feels really nice. I'm about to max out all my characters' main classes. I've unlocked all the subclasses. I accidentally ran past one of them. I told you like 20 hours ago. And
no, you haven't unlocked all subclasses. That's not possible.
Main subclasses.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I've unlocked all the main 8 subclasses plus the Inventor. The Inventor is a nutty class that you unlock earlier on that isn't a part of the main 4. And it has, instead of like getting job points to unlock future skills, you have to like find items in the world and take them back to this guy to invent new skills for you. Pretty cool, I think.
They got some cool moves. I will say the other 2 classes are much cooler, even on top of that I found. And the 4th one I didn't want to do because it was going to take a lot of combat.
It's what makes Octopath 2 really good, I think, and why a lot of people are like, oh, this is one of the best turn-based RPGs of all time, is because they try really hard to make a good story out of these 8 characters. All of them are kind of like
they try.
2 of them are decent, and the rest are pretty mid.
Yeah, I think it's just like I roll my eyes a lot. There's not enough charm to make up for some of the cartoonish nonsense that happens.
And so because of that, here's the problem. Here's why it lacks so hard. So this studio is really good at world building a turn-based art, like a JRPG. Like, holy shit. I told Willard, I walked into a town and I started robbing people and just interacting with the NPCs. And I was like, oh, there's a fucking death cult in this town.
And I didn't pick up on that till it was in the story, because I don't interact with the characters. I just rob them blind and move on like a heartless bastard. but it's cool. Like, Tyler's enjoying aspects of this game that I overlooked. But, you know, it's all in the spirit of beating it in a timely manner for me. Yeah. I don't think I dislike the game at all because of overlooking it. I still think
it's just crazy. The company does a really good job at world building, but then they devote all their time and energy to character building, and it's like, ugh.
So Tyler, I sent a video out to our Discord, and in the video, Ben Brode, who talks about, he talks about story for a second in Marvel Snap, and he's like, in a tier list of video game stories, it's either S tier, which is story of the ages, but you don't want F tier, which is a boring story. In fact, the second best thing you could have in a game is no story at all.
Yes, I completely fucking agree.
Agreed with them as well.
Oh yeah.
But
good game design.
I'll take a B tier story. I don't think Octopath has a B tier story even.
He's saying it from like a design perspective when you're making.
I mean, hey, it saves you so much time to work on other stuff. So.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, it's just. I completely agree, Bradley. To answer a question you had last time, it's like, did they fix the main issue you have? I'll conclusively say, now that I've beaten it, they don't. I mean, maybe.
What's the main issue?
Bradley's main issue last time was just that, like, the interactions and like the splitting the stories into like 8 individual stories, like, does it work out? I think it, like, the stories themselves are ever so slightly more interesting to where I didn't stop playing and I beat the game and I enjoyed it, but they don't fix the core issue. Even with the new chapters that are like 2 characters interacting, they're more rare than I thought they were when we talked about it last time.
So another thing. So I will say this. The travel banter, which is small interactions you get between characters, are more impactful. The writing is definitely better on those, and creates more intimate moments between certain characters. And that's the thing. Willard told me about these chapters, and each one of these chapters has a one-on-one between these 2 characters.
Mm-hmm. And they're quite good.
I really was like, oh wow, will real relationships flesh out if I have these characters in my party and hear their travel banter during their main stories? Some of them have, especially between like Hikari and Throne.
I was just about to say, I think Throne across the board has like the best little interactions with people.
Yeah, very, like, they're not terrible.
I weirdly like Hikari and Agnia? Yeah. Agnia? Whatever.
Yeah. I don't know why I feel this way about this game, though. I feel less punished. It feels like less of torture to 2 character story plots. And let me tell you why. I figured out why. So in each character's stories, chapters, backstories, flashbacks, they introduce a lot of supporting cast for each character.
True.
So, some have good friends, some have family, some have like a village of characters, some have like a team or a squad, some have a gang. They introduce a lot of character supporting cast to make it feel like these characters aren't alone when you're alone doing these chapters.
And like, it's still jarring when, like, you know, the character has I'm being harassed by two thugs, and it's like, well, you have a party of 7 people. I guess they're not near you right now, but whatever. But the characters have, like, Hikari, for example, has like 3 friends that he's visiting throughout the story, and it makes it feel like he's actually doing shit with other people.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. I particularly like Mother and Father in Throne A story, and Cassidy's Squad. That chapter, Cassidy's chapter 3, that shit hit, actually. That was a good emotional moment.
The one with the guy in the mask?
Yes.
The Plague Doctor?
Which is also another mustache twirly villain, but that's just how it is.
Yeah, like, I don't really... Like, they actually did write a good villain in this game.
I would say Father is actually pretty cool.
Father is a great villain. Whoever wrote Throne, give that motherfucker a raise.
He's the only one. Keep him.
Or I'm gonna say she. I think it's. I want to think a woman.
It's gonna be a she. It's true. Just like you're probably right.
Like that shit's actually good.
Mother is whatever.
Anybody want spoilers? Spoilers?
Yeah,
Bradley, Joe.
I don't care enough.
They're fine.
I'm good.
You want a spoiler?
Sure.
You want to treat?
Throne is an assassin and a gang.
Cool.
Where all of the assassins are orphaned, raised by the mother, just to be killers. And they're all like psychologically tortured, so they have to stay. And Father is like the one who teaches them how to fight and stuff. Throne is like the best one, and she's like, I'm gonna escape, and I have to kill Mother and Father. Mother's a little cunt, and you kill her really easily. And
I did Father before Mother because I think because you get to.
Oh, you fucked up.
Sorry. No. You're right. You can't technically do them in whatever order, but there's a level difference.
They're both 31.
I will add in that Mother and Father want Throne to take up the throne, I guess, and be the next lead. And she's like, I just need to kill you guys to get the keys off my collar that I have.
So, Mother actually gives backstory to Throne's mother, and like tells her she was the previous lead. She was my boss, and I had to kill her to take over my position.
Mother.
Yeah. So. But here's the thing. Father is a psychopath of a killer. He's not an assassin. He's a psychopathic man who just loves to kill. And he fell in love with Throne's mom, but she had an affair and aborted their child to have the child of the leader of their gang, which is Throne. So Throne is the baby child of
gangbanger.
To summarize, Father and Throne's mom were going to have a kid. She did not have the kid, and instead had another kid who's Throne.
She broke up with him.
So he has to raise this child that kind of took the place of his own seed.
Yes,
it's fucked.
He got cut. And because he's a psychopath. Like, he was raised on the streets. Like, he did his backstory. He's been raised on the streets and fighting since he was, like, 3 years old. And, like, stealing and killing because, like, he didn't want to die. So, like, he's psychopathic, stuck in his ways. Like, he will not let anybody kill him or go down easy. So he's like, he's like, of course I know you're here to kill me. And it's like, that's in chapter 2, and it seems cheesy. Like, oh, he figured me out, you know? It's like, oh, it's a little cheesy. It's like, he's better than, he's like, he's like, he's like, in chapter 2, it feels like she comes up to me, she's like, I'm the best assassin, I'm gonna kill you. And he's like, I'm actually the bester assassin, and I have the best super speed, and actually 2 knives, so you can't kill me. And that's what that chapter feels like. But in chapter 3, they do really a nice subversion where it feels very human, where he's like, of course I knew you were there to kill me. That's what I fucking raised you to do. I raised you to fucking kill me because I hate my life because you're the bastard child that I never had.
Like, literally. It's a really good cutscene. Now, Tyler, I am now very curious what you're going to think about Throne 4. Because I think that is the wildest left turn in the entire game is Throne's final chapter. So
it's gonna be what I expect, probably.
What is it? No, tell me. What is it?
Oh my god, not this again.
Okay. We'll talk about it later.
You literally cannot predict what happens in Throne 4. I'm sorry.
Okay.
We'll see. But, and maybe you'll connect it with some more stuff that I missed. But anyways, I think that might be good on Octopath if you have any closing statements.
34 is actually the lead of the White Snakes is an immortal who gained powers from the demon realm and is actually the child of her best friend who gets reincarnated every time he dies.
Okay. We'll let you know when you get there. Let me just type something in mid-cast chat real quick. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to talk about.
You can't just do that.
No, you don't. You're not allowed.
I can't believe Tyler had the wiki up the entire time.
I'm going to talk about Outer Wilds now.
Okay.
But this will be quick because it's a game that's difficult to talk about. My question to you guys is, what do you know about this game, or have you played this game?
You fly around in like a little solar system, and the solar system keeps on blowing up and resetting, and you need to figure out why that's happening.
Okay, Tyler.
Oh, wait. Hold on.
I know.
Outer Wilds and Outer Worlds are two different games.
I get them confused all the time.
I know you do.
These are made by the New Vegas guys.
Now, no. Outer Wilds is not... Outer Worlds is made by the New Vegas guys, and that is definitely not a Willer game. But neither is Outer Worlds.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were playing. No, Outer Wilds I could see Willer playing.
Sorry, Brad. So I was curious because I think this is a very Bradley game. You don't know anything, basically?
Yeah, I know
not
like
even a
nothing.
Okay. Well, I'm probably going to keep it that way then, because I want your raw... This is one of those where I want the pure essence of Bradley hype or Bradley confusion. Maybe you'll hate it. But I'm just very curious what you think. But Joe's premise is correct. I'll say some very spoiler-free things that I like about this game. The solar system that you're exploring is a very good size with incredibly unique planets with very good gimmicks. For anyone who's played the game, my favorite are Giants Deep and the Twins. And anyone who's played would know why those gimmicks are some of my favorites. I think this game's exploration is insanely good. You know what I like? It's in that upper echelon with Elden Ring, but batting in like kind of a different ball game, where the exploration is just like it is mother of learning, where your progression is knowledge, Bradley, where you need to explore the world and get more knowledge and understand how to interact with certain things and understand what was happening in this solar system before you and your planet started becoming spacefarer explorers.
Ooh, I love that kind of shit.
Because there was stuff going on in the solar system. There's history, there's lore, but your people have only recently gone to space, and you're the first spacefarer that's going out there with a translator. So you're discovering a lot about another species that was in the solar system, and yeah, it's just fantastic exploration. It just not much more to say about it. It'll be a quick talk, but I really think honestly all of y'all would enjoy certain aspects about this game, and trying to figure out, because you read something and you're like, okay, they were doing some experiments on this planet, how do I get to there? And you explore the planet, and it's like, well, actually, you have to, like, do another thing to enter where they were doing it, and that's just gonna tell you more information about that planet, but that planet has a gimmick that you cannot understand, and, like, you have no idea how to get to. There's some shit with quantum mechanics in this game that are super creative, and some puzzles related to that are great. This game could also be the scariest game in the world if it wanted to. Because there's moments where you're out in space and you're already creeped out, and it's like, if they threw a single monster, like the slowest moving, least threatening monster at me right now, I would shit myself, because I'm just so tense at navigating this environment right now. And sometimes the game is very unintentionally horrifying. Yeah, like, some things will happen where you think it's a glitch, but no, the world is just weird. And some things will happen where it is a glitch, and you have to reload your save, and you have to redo the run, but I digress. A problem I have with the game is that sometimes it makes me really sick. I am not much of a space boy, so when you're dealing with all these planetoids and their gravities in first-person view, I can get pretty woozy at times, and I have to, like... if I play for, like, 3 or more hours, I will need to lay down for a while, because it's a lot. I've gotten used to it, but the first 2 play sessions were very taxing on me for some reason. But yeah, I think a lot of PlayStation owners have this for free, by the way, because I believe it was free at some point.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's always permanently free. Check your library. You might already own this game.
Sweet.
That'd be cool.
And yeah, there's a DLC. I don't know if I'm gonna play it just from a time perspective, because it could be pretty meaty. And it's one of those games where you can technically beat this game in 10 minutes if you know all the knowledge you need to know about the universe. However, clearly I don't, and I look up as little as possible. There's been some puzzles though where it's like I can't be stuck on this forever. But the natural feeling of figuring the stuff out feels fantastic in this game, so I do recommend going in as blind as possible and looking up as least as possible. And I might go beat that after this podcast. That would be ideal because I know how to do it now. I know what the fun. Well, I know 2 of the 3 things I feel like I need to know to get the ending, and I cannot fucking figure out how to do the third. So I'm gonna poke at that for a little while. Joe, you have like a little game block here that you should.
I do. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about these in orders of my excitement to talk about them. Not saying they're all bad. I'm just saying that like. I'm just my excitement levels. Okay, so first off, Age of Wonders 4 is a game by Paradox Interactive. I think Bradley would probably enjoy this game because it's basically fantasy Civ. And what's oh yeah, why
dude? Yeah. So I've been seeing ads for this, and I actually have been looking up trailers. Like, okay,
so
am I getting this or not?
Let me explain to you what the premise of the game is. So, once again, like no story is better than any story, but the idea behind the game is that like there's these several different worlds, and you are what's known as a god-eater, quote unquote, that lives in like the astral sea and needs to like go to a world and amass a following to ascend the godhood. So what's really unique about this game compared to like others of like Civ is that you can like custom make your race down to like the personality traits of your empire, and that reflects diplomatically to other not randomly generated, but other
races in the game,
races and civs that you can run to the game, which is really, really cool. And you even get to make a custom like hero model that's for your race that like walks around the map and leads armies for you. And it's pretty much like a standard Civ fare where like you want to expand, you want to explore, diplomacy, and you have 3 different win conditions. And technology in this game, rather than being like tech, it's magic. And so you can specialize in different forms of magic. So you can do like ice magic and go down like the ice like tome path, or you can go down like chaos magic and go down to different like that kind of magic. And there's like I think there are 9 classes of 9 like spell classes, and there are 10 tomes in each of those classes that each do something very different. And what's cool is that like as you unlock more spells, you get to like custom modify your armies. So like for example, at the very end of the chaos tree, you can perform this ritual that turns all of your citizens of like your home like race into like half demon hybrid people, so they get new traits and new battle abilities, which is really, really cool. But the cool thing about this game is that when you beat a campaign and you successfully win and your guy ascends, they join your god pantheon within the game, and then can permanently affect the rest of the other games that you play whenever you start a new campaign.
Whoa, seriously?
Yeah, so like they could show up as a hero that's really powerful that you can recruit on your side or the enemy side, or they could decide that they're going to just be like a new civilization in that game and fuck your shit up. And then there's also like a tech tree. As your pantheon gets bigger, you unlock new cosmetics and new like terrain layouts and stuff like that. I haven't done a lot of like time in the game already, but like it seems to have really cool like replayability and just like your own way of like, this is what my pantheon shaped out to be. What did yours look like? Well, I went with this race first, and then I did this race, then this race, and then like that my first race came back and kicked my ass. Like I think it's got some really cool like immersive stuff into it that I think is really interesting.
Yeah.
In addition, the game is a little bit more combat, I would say, focused than Civ, where like when armies clash, it's not just like people on tiles like fighting each other. You go into like an almost total war kind of thing where you're on a battlefield and you're moving people in a turn-based like strategy game, like fighting each other, which I think is really cool. And also, what's great is the campaigns are very quick. I beat the first campaign I played in about like 2.5-3 hours, which is not that long.
Actually, yeah, that's like way shorter than like a Civ.
Y'all want to hear something really cool?
What?
I bought this game while you were talking about it.
Oh,
No way.
That's my favorite. That is always my favorite.
I really like this because from all the trailers I had just been wondering like, okay, what actually like makes this game different than just Civilization with fantasy shit?
That was my thing too. And when I saw that, I was like, okay, this seems really cool. You were the other one I'm going to recommend, Tyler, but like I know for Civ you really like the historical aspects of the game, so I wasn't really sure if like that was going to turn you off to it or not.
I get to build my own society and create a history. Like the game looks really pretty too.
It's really cool. Also, you know what's fucked up? I didn't realize this until halfway through my first game. You have an overworld map, but then there's also an underground map. Like you can have an underground, under terrestrial society that just lives underground and invades the overworld. So yeah, kind of wild. So far it's pretty good. I think I only have like 6 or 8 hours into it at this moment, but it was a really good purchase on my part, I think.
That motherfucker's going to his Steam right now.
Babe, I need $50. Okay, so that's what I wanted to talk about that for Age of Wonders. Next up is Forge of the Chaos Dwarves, which is the latest DLC for Total Warhammer 3.
Oh boy, it's time for our favorite recurring segment. Joe laments the state of his favorite hobby with all the insane people.
Oh my god. Okay. So Forge of Chaos Dwarves came out. So the very important thing to mention about this, the first Warhammer, Total War Warhammer game 10 years ago, when they first came out, they're like, it's going to be a trilogy. Our goal is by the end of the life cycle of the entire trilogy, you will be able to play every single Warhammer faction that existed on tabletop, which is like, if I'm doing my math correct, like 20 factions with all unique mechanics.
Damn.
Which is crazy. Like 10 years ago, I'd be like, you're fucking insane. That's never going to happen. The Chaos Dwarves were the final race that needed to be put into the series.
Oh.
So this is like, they have made the promise of like, we've done it. We've gotten every race that was ever on tabletop into the game, which is crazy and phenomenal. So it's a huge deal. But talking about DLC beforehand, this might be one of the, if not the best, like new faction DLCs they have made in terms of its like overall, like its like overworld abilities. Like it's very in deep, and like I was incredibly engaged for the full like first 30 hours of me playing this game of this DLC. So like it's just like I don't mean, and that's like the first time I played the game basically for 30 hours. I will probably come back and play it again whenever I get more time. But I don't want to go in too deep to it, but like basically you're constantly having to balance like how much are you raiding other factions and like where you're specializing your different districts and like what technology, and like there's like this tower kind of like diplomacy thing that's really cool. It's all great things. It's $25. I bought it and I did not regret buying it for $25. I'm now going to talk about the community and why I think they're fucking crazy.
Are you going to complain about the people complaining about the people complaining?
Yes, I am going to be that meme. But I do want to point out some things that people have against this DLC. I'm going to refute most of them. So the first thing that came up was that a lot of the stuff that the Chaos Dwarves bring are reused mechanics from old races. Okay, understandable. One of the mechanics in particular is this caravan mechanic where you can send like goods to like a race that's very far away from you, and then you get some sort of like monetary value back. I particularly was watching a YouTuber's video about like the DLC, and he's like, yeah, it's kind of disappointing that one of the main mechanics of the faction is this caravan mechanic that was used in this other mechanic that was introduced in the same game. I was like, okay, that's a fair point. Until I remembered that the same guy, when the game first released, said this caravan mechanic should be in every race in the game.
The switch up.
Yeah, and I was just like, okay, hold up.
These haters are so notorious that Joe can keep track of their shit takes.
And I was even against that. I was like, that's not true because you don't understand how trade actually works and how what the caravans are representing. But I think the caravan mechanic in this faction is very good because you have 3 different currencies you have to worry about, and that mechanic lets you choose which currency you're sacrificing to gain a benefit in another. And it's really well done. Everything fits together really well. And I'd rather have that than just some very unique mechanic that doesn't work as well. The other thing that was mentioned was that the price increase. Oh, sorry. Before I get to this, the other thing I mentioned is that they reuse animations from the Dwarf faction, like the regular Dwarf faction, for the Chaos Dwarves faction. To which point I say, no fucking shit. They're the same race of people, just one's more evil than the other.
Are they different colors?
Yes, but like they also have completely different outfits. The only thing that's similar to them is the bone structure.
This is a grandma's boy joke, like encapsulated 20 years later.
Yeah.
And someone fucking did it intentionally.
Yeah, and it's just it boggles my mind, and it really does. And the other thing, and the final thing that I can totally get behind, is that this DLC is $25. It was discounted for 10%, like it usually does for pre-orders or first week buy. So it was around $22. Previous race packs were $20 when they first came out, and they had 4 legendary lords, so 4 new factions you could play. Whereas this game only has 3 new legendary lords, 3 new factions you could play. And I totally get that, and I understand. Like I really do. Like it kind of sucks that we don't get a 4th faction for them. The problem is that like everything else about the faction works so well that I'm not missing that 4th lord. Like it's just like so much more time was put into like, let's make sure the faction itself is really, really good and can stand on its own rather than spending time on like developing a 4th legendary lord that most people aren't going to play. So I actually really appreciate it that they spent more time doing that and really kind of like just made the faction a lot better on its own. And also I went ahead and looked up the last race pack when it came out and put into the inflation modifier, and when adjusted for inflation it costs the same price. So really I don't know what to tell you there. So and that came out I think about 6 years ago or something like that. So really it's a great DLC. I think if you like Total Warhammer 3, 100% pick it up. It's totally worth it. It's great. And I just that's really it. I think it's a great new piece. I'm really happy with how the Chaos Dwarves came out, especially as someone that was not really excited to see them. They were just kind of like a whatever faction to me. I was really enjoying them.
Damn, that sounds like a weirdly reasonable take for a Total Warhammer player.
Yeah. Oh man, they just finally dropped the roadmap for what they're going to be developing next, and not even 15 minutes after dropping it, people were complaining that they weren't getting the factions they wanted first. But whatever. I'm good popping off that subreddit, I think, in just a hot minute and just turn away from it.
I think that could be healthy if everyone is going to be salty for the next few weeks.
Yes. Always. Not the next few weeks, next few months.
Just perpetually. Maybe just step away for good.
Yeah. Finally, so first of all, it's the new Star Wars game came out, Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
And this is your most excited game. I'm actually surprised that this is what you put first.
Oh, say it. So I want to ask you all a really cool question / game show. So for Star Wars Jedi Survivor, where is the colon?
In the balls.
The colon? No. Yeah. So like you know how,
I like that one.
Yeah, so like it'd be a title like, you know, it would be One Piece : the movie kind of a thing.
I would say after Jedi.
Okay.
I was gonna say between Wars and Jedi.
The title is Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
It's after Jedi.
Okay. Bradley, just say after Jedi as well.
Wars.
I said after Wars.
Which would be
Wars?
reasonable, right? But I know better.
Yeah, congrats to both Willer and Tyler. You're both correct.
What's so weird though?
It's Star Wars Jedi: Survivor.
Because the franchise is Star Wars Jedi, right?
Yeah, which is kind of weird because you could still make it Star Wars: Jedi Survivor because the last one was called Jedi Fallen Order. But that's just a little funny thing that I thought that was pointed out to me.
Good on them to have the name, like, they are officially the Star Wars Jedi series. Like, that, they took the best word.
Good on Respawn. So I picked up Star Wars Jedi
through
Survivor.
a convoluted scheme.
Yeah, through a very convoluted scheme, successfully. It's also how I paid for Age of Wonders 4. But so I picked up the game, and I realized that I went through the same fucking character arc with this game as I did with Fallen Order, which is really funny. I saw it, and like, there's just that bit of me that I'm just like, earlier in this podcast, I'm like, Mandalorian season 3 was not great, wasn't happy about it, blah 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 blah. And I see Star Wars Jedi, I'm like, oh, but the Star Wars and boy in me really wants to play this game, and so I bought the game to play it. And in a weird way, I'm going to damn it with faint praise, but also not in two different ways.
Compliment sandwich.
Yeah. So I think it's the best, like, I would say it's probably one of the best Jedi Star Wars games that's come out. But on the flip side, I think this is like this is a really good just story period. So which I was shocked about, because like my obviously tall like bar for Star Wars is both low and high. Like, you need to hit these credentials, but I don't need you jump over.
You said the gameplay is lackluster, but you love the story.
Yeah, I would say so.
A rare Joe take, I will say.
Yeah, and like, but Respawn has done a great job in capturing Star Wars, I think. Like, what they did was just, they did a really good job in immersion and how the environment works and just like how things connect together. And I feel like, yeah, this is a Star Wars planet. These are Star Wars things. It doesn't feel out of place, or it doesn't feel like it's a weird kind of offshoot thing that's happening that I think some Star Wars properties can do every once in a while. I was very immersed in the setting and the characters as well. The characters are very well written. Cal Kestis, especially, like in Fallen Order, I was kind of like whatever about him.
Main character.
Main character. Whatever about him, thought he was cool. By the end of this game, I was really invested in Cal and what he was going through.
God damn, I missed that you beat this. You beat this?
I beat this, yes.
Bitch, you're so fast.
Yeah.
It's so, like, does the man actually have a job, I wonder?
I do have a job. It's unfortunate, I do. I just like, when y'all don't hear from me, I'm usually playing a video game. Very quickly. But no, like, I just, like, Cal really clicked for me. Like, this, I don't know what it was, but like, actually I do know what it is. I just don't want to get into heavy spoilers at the moment. But like, his conflict, what he's trying to do and his goals is just superbly written, and it's not crazy. It's not some like outlandish tale. It's very much like a very reasonable thing that a person can go through, I think, within the circumstances that he is.
He in your top 3 Star Wars protagonists? That might be a tough question. Let it cook if you need to, and come back.
I'm gonna let it cook. I'm gonna let it think, because man, I really like the ending to this game a lot. But Cal Kestis in this game is basically a rebel without a cause, which is a bit weird to say in the Star Wars universe, because it's obviously he's fighting against the Empire because the Empire is evil. But as you kind of like go through the game, you realize that like everyone has something to hold on to, whereas Cal is just picking fights to pick fights because he feels like he needs to as a Jedi. And that really starts to question who he is and what he's trying to accomplish. And I think that's a really great character growth moment of like, what does it mean to be a Jedi? And what does it mean to be doing enough? And like, I think that's a great like plot for him to follow. And it's really interesting. And about halfway through the fucking game, I realized that this is the Star Wars story I've been dreaming about for about 10 years.
Whoa. Okay, that's awesome.
It was fucking crazy.
You suffered so much.
I was just like beat for beat was like what I thought. It's like I think there'd be a great story where we explore the ancient Jedi past and like they try to look at themselves now and back again and like try to figure out like what they did wrong and kind of go from that experience. And that's kind of what this story did. And I thought it was fucking awesome.
That's fucking dope.
So excited. Every single time I got to a new story beat, I was excited to see what happened. And I got to a point where like halfway through the game, you're fighting this fucking space mining laser that's tearing down like a Jedi temple, and you're like having to jump through it, and like you're doing all these kind of cool acrobatic cinematic moments. And it was just like, I'm really into this. Like, this is the best Star Wars shit I've seen since probably Force Awakens. It was crazy.
Nice.
And I was like really excited, really hyped.
Now, Joe, I've heard pretty negative things about this game.
Yes.
And I don't want to kill too much time talking. It's PC port issues and whatnot.
Yeah.
And apparently the PlayStation version also doesn't run great. My question is, for the people who get into the game, I don't know if you know, do people also like the story as much as you do, or is this like, or are you kind of a hot take?
I think people like the story as much as I do. I think as well.
Okay.
I want to touch on the performance issues. I did have some issues on my PlayStation at the beginning of the game. They have patched a lot of it out, and by the end of it, I wasn't nearly suffering as much things. There's some stuff kind of jitters from time to time, and you get artifacts everywhere, but nothing on like the PC port in terms of performance. So if you're like wanting to get the game and you have a console, definitely get it on the console. Don't get it on PC.
A lot of bad PC ports came out like this month.
Yeah, and like compared to Redfall, which is both a terrible PC port, it's a terrible game. I don't think Jedi Fallen Order is that. I think there's actually something worth like playing in this game.
Bro, that's that Redfall situation sidebar looks crazy. Like, I did not realize that this is the studio that made the Prey games, which you guys have talked about very kindly on this podcast.
Very lovingly.
So that is such a whiff. That is such a miss.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. But to get back on the Jedi Survivor. But yeah, like it just was like it was the Jedi story that I've wanted for a long fucking time, and I was so happy to get it. To touch on the combat, the reason why I feel confident in recommending it is that the combat in the game is like a C+ passable, I would say. I think they have some really cool ideas, but they're stuck in this, like, we want to make it kind of Dark Souls-y mindset. And I think they really need to get away from that, because I think it distracts too much of like this immersion fantasy of being a Jedi. And it's really distracting. And it's kind of, you get some cool like combat moments, but I just feel like it's more of a slog and more of a pain than it is a benefit to the game. That being said, I played 80% of this game on the Grandmaster difficulty, which is like the highest difficulty of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to a point where it's like, I want to beat the game. I don't have the patience to like play this like a Dark Souls game where I want to get better. And I'm not feeling that good feeling of like I'm getting better at the game as you play Dark Souls, unfortunately. So I popped myself down to like Jedi Master about 80% of the way through the game, and I immediately started having 200% more fun in the game, which was a crazy difference, I think.
Nice.
But as soon as I did that, I was like, cool. I'm like, this is like the perfect level for me.
I know going down in difficulty is a big thing for you, like where you do not like doing it, from what I can tell.
Yeah, and like it's not necessarily, it's kind of a pride thing, but it's also like to be fair, I would rather have the game be so difficult I have to go down difficulty than like I'm at the highest difficulty, I'm breezing through the game.
Yeah,
right.
Fair.
And it's just one of those things where like the Grandmaster difficulty, I think, is just a little bit overburdening with like, as soon as you hit more than 5 enemies on screen, it's way too much shit going on that like you can't keep track, and it's way fucking. In Dark Souls, the arrows fly at a reasonable speed. You're getting shot with laser bolts that are flying across the screen. It's two different projectile speeds. But I think also the other problem with the game is that you get like 6 lightsaber styles, but they only allow you to equip 2 between save points. And that's like playing Devil May Cry and you're on a Dante level and they tell you to pick 2 of Dante's weapons and go forward, which is like not great feeling. Like,
let me introduce you, Joe, to Devil May Cry 3, where you have to do exactly
my God.
that. Yeah, as much as I love that game, they don't let you do the whole shebang.
But like at the same time, the gameplay is passable to a point where it's like, if you really like Star Wars and you really want to get invested, I think this game's a home fucking run if you can get it to run. Like it's Respawn has done a great fucking job with the game. To talk about the ending very quickly. So I want to point out very heavy spoiler warnings for those that happen to care on our podcast. I am 50-50 split on what the next installment of the game is going to be called. I think on one end it might be called Star Wars Jedi Master, because by the end of the game, Cal picks up a woman, or not a woman, a young girl who's sensitive to the Force and needs to teach her, and will have to eventually teach her how to do the Force and balance her out. Right? Very classic stuff. And it really finishes the arc, because in the first game you are a Padawan, in the second game you are a Jedi Knight technically, in the third game obviously you become a Jedi Master. On the other hand, I think the game could also be called Star Wars Dark Jedi, because at the very end of the game, Cal Kestis gets betrayed in the last 10% of the game, and so through the whole game, you have like an ultimate, which is like you slow down time and you can run around and you can like beat people up. And it's not the best. It's useful because you can reposition yourself, take out dude that's really a nuisance really quickly, and get back to the fight. When you get to that part of the game, it changes from like a time stop to embracing the dark side as your ult. And it's not crazy like you shoot lightning or anything. Cal just gets very angry and hits things way harder, which I think is a great way of just suddenly showing you like how easy it is to just fall to the dark side. And it doesn't have to be flashy. It could just be, I can do this thing way easier now.
Berserker mode.
Yeah. And I think that's a great way to like showcase that. And at the end, like Cal is like really conflicted. And like going into the final segment of the game, I was like, are we really fucking doing this? Is this really the right thing to do? Like, and Cal is having those exact same thoughts and feelings. And I just like to have such a good resonance with the character. I think was great on the writing's part.
Good story, narrative combination there.
Yeah, but I will say that like I figured what the twist was going to be. I was just shocked that it was exactly what I thought it was going to be, or exactly what I wanted it to be.
Well, what if in the third game he starts raising the Padawan, but in order to become a master and not succumb to the dark side, he has to put all of the dark side energy into his Padawan.
That sounds silly. I will say though, I think it'd be really interesting in the third game where you have a lot more choices in how you would raise this Padawan potentially, because if you're gonna make the third game the last game, you can make it a lot more permanent with those choices. I think you can be a little bit more wilder,
like completely different endings.
Yeah, because you don't have to like try to hook tethers or plan ahead for your next like 1 or 2 games. You just need to worry about what's happening in that game. But yeah, Jedi Survivor was like I was really fond of and I was really happy with.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I'll do Battle Network pretty quickly as well.
Okay.
So the Battle Network collection finally came out. I've been looking forward to for years, and then it got announced, and it was real, and more news came out, and it just kept getting better and better. Have you ever played a childhood game, and as like you're going through it, you realize it may not be exactly what you remember?
Yes.
Do y'all have like an experience with one of those games in your life?
God, it's probably like Banjo-Kazooie or like
that one ages very poorly. Bradley, do you have something where it's like, damn, the feeling's just not there?
Bradley here. It's Bradley live.
Maybe he's also on bathroom break. Well,
yeah.
I'm happy to say that is not the case with Battle Network. In fact, have you ever played a childhood game that when you get back to it, it is better than you remember? Because that is how I am with these Battle Network games right now. Oh my god, what the fuck? These are so fun.
Yeah.
Are they nice remasters?
Like the remasters themselves are nothing to write home about. I'm just surprised at how much I am enjoying these games and how much better they are than even I remember, because with the caveat of Battle Network 1, which no one it's tough because it's like, hey, I would love to recommend these games to anyone because I think they just age really well. But the thing is, you have to kind of say, well, don't start at the first one. Or maybe, like, I see a bunch of posts where, like, people got through the first one, and then they start 2, and they're like, oh my god, this is so much better. And I'm like, the thing is,
you should definitely start the series. In my opinion, you should start playing at Battle Network 4.
4 is what people consider the second worst. I think 2 and 3 are good starting points. Granted, you could, if you rush through 1, it is like an 8 to 12 hour game, especially if you use the game's Buster Max mode that turns your pea shooter into like a one-shot kill almost on most enemies. And you could turn that on and off whenever you want, even mid-battle if you like run into an encounter you don't like, which is a great godsend. I would have rather had like skipping battles, but I can see they didn't put that in because like there's in-game functionality for that and like stuff you can get to guaranteed skipping battles, but whatever. Just having the Buster Max helps a lot. But with like Battle Network 1 aside, like as soon as you hit 2, you have such a good series of really well-lengthed JRPGs, and a takeaway that I'm having now is that the story is so much better than I remember. And, like, I'm not saying it's anything to write home about, but think of, like, a really, really good Saturday morning cartoon with, like, really funny hijinks but touching character moments. Like, I will put the caveat that almost 99% of my time has actually been on Battle Network 6. And it's a bummer because it's my favorite one, and I had to start with it because it's the most competitively viable.
Wow. I even started on earlier Battle Networks than Willer. I didn't know that.
No, I started with 3.
Okay.
I started with 6 on the collection. Sorry, I should have.
Oh, yeah.
And I got this collection on 2 things, so I played 6 twice so I could have like a at least close to endgame folder. And then I'm cleaning up the end game on the Switch, which right off the bat, I'll recommend if anyone wants to pick this up, pick it up on the Switch because it has the biggest player base, and that makes a huge difference.
Fascinating.
Because the worst part of the games, by far, is the matchmaking they made. You have to go into a game, and then in the matchmaking, you have to go through all these filters, which include, do you want to do ranked or casual? And then you have to pick, do I want to be host or guest? Which I guess because of how the Game Boy was worked, they could not figure out, I guess, a better way to do it than you having to pick a host and a guest. And then you have to pick stuff like, do I want to do triple battles or single battles? Do I want to do what's called a practice battle or what's called the real thing? And the real thing is where you play, and if you lose one of your chips permanently. No one plays real thing for obvious reasons because you do not want to lose incredibly rare one-time chips. So that's, and then in Battle Network 6, and this is fucking insane, and 5 and 4 also have this mechanic, but 6 has the most complexity. There was a Game Boy Advance feature called the e-reader where you would plug something into the Game Boy Advance and swipe in cards.
Oh, I used to love the e-reader.
So Battle Network has dozens and dozens and dozens of cards that when you swipe them in, they have a megabyte amount, and Megaman has 80 megabytes of customizable features. These include, like, I completely changed Megaman's Buster to throw bombs instead of shoot shots, or his charge shot becomes a time-freezing chip that lets you, like, put a cursor down on the map to shoot. It can change his base element. It can make it so when you move, you create ice panels. Like, the craziest fucking effects. It can make it so your Buster, when it hits people, it creates a conveyor belt, panel. It does stuff that the chips in the game cannot do. So between that, your chip folder, and the Navi customizer, you can customize Battle Network 6 Mega Man to insane degrees. So I am just addicted tweaking my my little setup I have here, and I'm finally at the point where I can win some goddamn matches, but man, is it hard. people are cutthroat in these games, but it's so fun. So because of that, like, it is a long story short. It is a lot of filtering options because you also have to like choose if you want to turn those cards on or off. To where like you want to be on the player base that's biggest because it's already like people are already playing through the games and they have to play through the whole game to get like a fairly good competitive deck. So like it can be hard to get matches. But I yesterday I played so many matches on the Switch. I would just put it on a host for a little bit. Watch some Mob Psycho, match would pop up, boom, get my ass wrecked. My win rate is like 9 wins to 37 losses, but I'm having the time of my fucking life right now. It is like this is everything I dreamed of. It's so good. I'll say that like the netcode is delay based, and you're playing with a lot of Japanese people as well.
Damn.
So it is very much a play this with Ethernet kind of game. There's no other way to handle it because the delay would get too bad if you're playing it on just straight Wi-Fi.
I guess Willer and I are never going to play then.
What are you talking about?
You don't have it for the PlayStation. That's the only thing I have an Ethernet connected to.
Whatever. Between you and me on the Switch, it would play perfectly because you live 20 minutes from me. Relax, it's fine. One day, by the way, we'll get this on PlayStation to get trophies one day, but that's a story for when it's on sale. So I will buy this game 3 times.
Willer single-handedly making sure Capcom doesn't go out of business.
This game sold so well that Battle Network 7 for the first time in my entire life is a potential thing. But yeah, like, okay, like, I really like this story. Like, I can't believe how much I'm enjoying, like... So, let me spoil the ending of Megaman Battle Network 1. So, let me set the setting real quick. You're in this world where the internet has grown to a thing where, like, the internet itself is basically a expanding universe that has like physical internet space, and you create net navies that are like your avatars to navigate that space. You find out at the end of the game that Mega Man is the dead twin brother of the main character Lan, who died at the age of 1 from an incurable heart disease, and their scientist dad was able to digitize him, and he's like a super special net navi as a result.
Wild.
So from that point on, like, the games don't shy away from it, and the story keeps building on that kind of dynamic between the two. And as an adult, I'm watching this Saturday morning cartoon-ass plot, but when, like, Lan and Mega Man interact as brothers, it does things to my heart, man. It is so sweet. And, like, the way that the end of Battle Network 6, and, like, I love how Mega Man phrases it, where it's, like, 2 pairs of siblings that have gone through very unique circumstances in life are teaming up to defeat these giant beasts that are ravaging the internet, and it's so fucking hype. As the game was coming out, I was sharing all the, like, from Mega Man 4 through 6, you get to start fusing with your allies, and Mega Man gets, like, unique designs, so I was sharing those with y'all. And I don't know if it's my sensibilities, but those are the coolest motherfucking designs ever. I love them so much. And now that I finally am at a point, like, I'm in the post-game of 6 on the Switch. I just got there on the Steam, but I think I'm just going to mainly play Switch now because the player base difference, I think, is just that much. I'm probably going to play the rest of them now, finally. I'm going to speed my ass through 1 because that is a bad game. Not a bad game, but man, is it lacking. But I'm going to enjoy my times with 2 through 6. I started with 3. 3 is as good as 6. It is a phenomenal RPG. Incredibly well.
Start with 4, they all go uphill.
It's true. 4. The problem with 4 is a big tournament arc, and the problem with it is you have to play the game like 3 times to experience every scenario. Because in different rounds of the tournament, you will do like a little scenario with your opponent, like a little story arc. So you have to replay a lot of 4. I'm sure it's not going to be as bad. On the replays, I'll just turn on the Buster Max mode. I basically have that on until, like, anytime I fight a virus, like a group of viruses that I've already beat, or until I hit a boss, I will have that on to speed up navigating the internet and grinding. But yeah, like, I know, like, I would have loved to play these games with a friend where we get to go through the story and play with our suboptimal decks, but I'm not going to even attempt to ask because that is asking for a lot. I'm just having fun with the ability to play this online with people. It is so cool. Again, my ass just gets wrecked on. If you've ever wanted to see me in a 1v1 game be bad, this is it right here.
I played a little bit of you when we had to do through scrupulous means.
Yes.
For us
I played you in JoJo All Stars.
Yeah, I beat your ass in JoJo's All-Star, except those times where you beat my ass, but we
we don't talk about those.
Man, you're so annoying with Joseph. They should not give that guy a back run. That's fucked up. But yeah, like, I am going to get so much mileage out of these games, like, throughout the year. And yeah, like, I'm so happy they sold well. It's great, and I think they're going to keep selling better and better. There will be more and more people online as people kind of wrap up their games. Because I know a lot of people started at 1, and they're going to play all the way through. I was like, I need to get the competitive one out the way, but I'm really, really excited to play 5 and 4. Even though I hear they're fuck busted, they do not have balance, I want the chaos. I want the smoke.
What if this year is the year of 7s for Capcom?
What would be
for announcements?
What would be the Ace Attorney 7? Don't do this to me.
Unmissable.
The unmissable announcment. But anyways, okay, we have 2 more, and they're big movie talks.
Correct.
Now, I want to probably end with Super Mario movie because we've all watched it. That probably makes the most sense.
Yeah.
That being said, I do think Bradley would like Guardians 3.
Oh, did you see it, Willer?
I did. I saw it yesterday.
Cool.
And as a result, we should do sort of a spoiler-free talk, if we can, for Guardians 3. What did you guys think? Because you guys saw it before me. So we'll go in order of when we watched it, which we would start with Tyler, who watched it very early.
Yeah. So I saw a post online earlier about parents concerned with the rating of the movie.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't concerned with the rating as much as I was concerned with the director. And like, are you okay, buddy? Are you trying to tell us something about yourself? Are these the reasons you got fired? Like,
no.
Yeah. I have the opposite take. I think that he shows a lot of empathy to animals, which the animal cruelty in this movie does hurt. But I think it hurts bad.
I have a question for you, Willer.
Yes.
And Joe.
Yeah.
I have 2 questions. First of all, is the movie good?
Joe?
I think the movie is good, yes. I would recommend it to my father to go watch it.
I will go as far to say that I love this movie.
Yeah.
Okay, second question. Is the movie good because of human empathy for small, cute, and fluffy animals?
Absolutely not. That is just one of the many good elements because...
Okay.
Because besides anything dealing with Rocket, I think the other Guardians had such good storylines in this movie and the whole trilogy that I don't think it's fair to say that it's just tugging at our heartstrings, even though it is. But that's every James Gunn movie. That guy wants you to cry.
So I want to say this is gonna be a slight spoiler, but not.
Okay.
One of my favorite points about the movie was Star-Lord.
Yes, he's so good at this
and how everybody is done with his shit, and so is the story.
Is that the vibe you got, Joe? Like, definitely in the start, but I don't know if the story is done with his shit.
I don't think so either, but I do think like Peter Quill is, with the exception of the alcoholism, is matured a lot compared to like Guardians 1 and 2.
I noticed a lot of mature. Hold on, I'm going to take a pause to grab my food that got here in a weird time, so you guys keep talking.
We're now going to talk about Octopath Traveler 2 once again.
Man, Joe, this game is the fucking exact same as the first one. Like, it is so the same, it's not even funny.
That's kind of why I held off on buying it. I'm kind of glad.
Did you finish the first one?
No, I got like bored.
Joe, you are not beating Octopath 2. I am telling you right now.
Yeah.
Your ass is not finishing this game.
Oh, I did buy it, so I haven't even started it. So you're correct.
Yeah.
I'm just saving you some trouble.
Oh no, I know. Where were we? Peter Quill.
Star-Lord's maturity in this movie is really good.
Yes.
I just felt like it was like everybody kind of seems exhausted with his arguments, his immaturity, and the story because of that doesn't really focus on him. It kind of does like a big eye roll at like, yeah, that's Star-Lord, that's Peter. Peter,
Man,
we know.
Peter,
shut the fuck up.
That is not the vibe I got at all. They respect him as a captain a lot in this movie. They're just like, but they are dealing with the frustration that is the Gamora situation from Endgame.
That's what I mean. They're like, yeah, we get it, Peter. Your heart got broken. She's different. Yeah. She's not the same.
But they're not coming at it with that energy. They're coming at it with the empathy of like, we understand how difficult this is, but you need to get it together, buddy. Like, it felt more loving than I think you're selling it to me.
It doesn't. It feels more like, I don't know, if we had a best friend that went through a very bad breakup multiple times and we had to like help him through it, and we got a little bit upset about the shit that would happen every once in a while, but hey, we love hanging out with him, and we really appreciate it when he's around, and we're glad he's better now.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I relate to that, I think.
Damn, Joe. Okay, yeah.
I think I can understand that.
Yeah.
And look, we all love Star-Lord.
Yeah, but now y'all see it from my perspective. You'll see what I was talking about.
We're fine. Yeah, I mean, we never doubted you. It's just sometimes we got other shit in our life.
I do. No.
The way I was describing the other characters empathizing with Star-Lord.
Oh, no! Oh, shit. You threw that back at us really good. I'll give you that. You know what? Touche. Anyways.
Double way street. But anyways, I think the characters are really well done. I think Nebula has one of the best glow ups in the Guardians trilogy as well.
I mean,
let's just be honest. That's Karen Gillian, dude.
Yeah,
when her eyes were brought up, I was like, finally, someone's noticing these things about my girl.
Yeah.
Sorry. About Nebula, like, she has been a fantastic character since Guardians 2, but because Guardians 2 had some bad jokes, no one gives it the credit for what it deserves with the characters.
No, I agree. I mean, in comparison,
what's so wrong with that?
What's so wrong with that?
I'm comparing, compared to.
Was that Guardians 1 or 2? What's so wrong with that?
Those two. Definitely.
Oh man.
Yeah. I think it's weird that like if I went to the past and I told like Joe that just saw Guardians 1 and went like, Nebula's gonna be one of the best characters in the series, I probably would have thought you're fucking crazy.
True.
But like I think she's great. I love how like she's developed in the movie and how she's like angrily admitting like, I like hanging out with these people. I'm so fucking upset. It's such a struggle to do so.
She's so tsundere about it.
Yeah.
She has a great role in the team in this movie, and
yes.
Something that like is worth thinking about is that her and Rocket are the only ones that were not erased by Thanos. So they actually spent 5 years as the only Guardians. Mm-hmm. And some of those scenes hit different when you think about that, I think.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Actually, considering that, Willer, so this movie really does actually, it carries on
Endgame?
Yeah, it carries on plot points that we've experienced in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And it's like, yeah, hey, look, these are things that have happened. And I'm like, thank you. You acknowledged it. Holy shit.
And it's acknowledgement more than just like, remember the blip? It's like, acknowledging some of that Peter stuff especially was so good. That was so gratifying. The scene in the elevator, especially.
Yeah.
But it doesn't it doesn't do the Marvel thing that it's doing all these movies where it's like leaving a bunch of dangling plot threads for later. Like, it is very much a Guardians movie.
Yeah.
Well, Tyler, you didn't say. Tyler, did you like this movie?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
Okay.
Okay.
I thought the animal cruelties layered on a little too heavy.
No, I think it's exactly where it needs to be.
Me too, because when Tyler told me, like, the way you said it made me think it was going to be a lot worse than it was, and it was bad, but it was more emotionally bad than, like, violently bad, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. So for context, seeing cats die in movies is probably the most traumatizing thing I've ever experienced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's I don't even need to go to therapy to know why I have that. I know why.
I think any pet owner that owns a pet definitely cuddled with their pets after this movie.
I did, but it definitely has nothing to do with my currently owned pet.
Yeah.
Sure. But, like, I saw a lot of posts of, like, people be like, I hugged my dog when I got home. I love him so much.
I was very happy that I got to hang out with my pup when I was home.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's so sweet.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of, as a small tangent, when I came in and my family, my mother and father have like a guest room where me and my brother stay, the dog usually sleeps on the couch. But whenever me or my brother come over, he comes and sleeps in the room with us, and he never does that unless we're over there with him.
That's so
and
cute.
as soon as we came in, he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna be here now for the rest of the time you're over here," and we just pop his. Yeah.
Something I wanted to bring up. You go first, Joe.
I was just gonna say that, like, I think, in terms of like the story of the movie, James Gunn has done a great job of, like, let's take a very very normal tragic thing that happens to people and let's expand it to a more like fantastical setting, which I really like.
It really felt like One Piece storytelling for me, this one. I don't know why, but
it's because he probably has read One Piece between Guardians 1 and the Suicide Squad.
It just the Suicide Squad had a lot of influence too. Like, I feel like the through line from Guardians 2 to Suicide Squad to this one makes a lot of sense to me, actually. Man, James Gunn really loves creatures. Like, he really loves the theme of even the smallest organism has some worth in this world, and some of those scenes really hit because of that. I wanted to bring up that the main villain in this movie, I liked him a lot. Like,
same.
High Evolutionary is one of my favorite villains.
He did a really good job where he introduced the villain very early on and the threat and lets it build up. That is just good.
Yeah, and like, you got plenty of scenes with him. You understand where he's coming from, but he's not at all like redeemable. Like, that's why it feels like a One Piece story, because it's got a sad flashback and a One Piece ass villain in the story, and he was great at it.
And
that
his
acting,
motivation, the acting
was insane. The scenes where he was, some of those scenes were so good with him.
Yeah, the other thing I like is that, like, his motivation isn't like. And these are all James Gunn movies. Is that they're not like personal or revenge stories. Like, I like that. Like, he has like it's very Thanos, and like, I have a philosophical idea about how the world should be. I'm going to like implicitly put that onto people, and that just feels better as like a hero versus villain story if you're having superheroes, because like you feel like it's worth rooting for the hero, which is great. I think.
And like, this was a dark movie. Like, the story is really good, but also like very dark for a Marvel movie. And some of the stuff with the planet they go to, my mouth was agape. Like, I was like, I can't believe we're actually doing some of this, because this is fucked.
Man, the designs of some of those people on the planet. But what I really liked was there's the two big bodyguards outside of his base. I thought those guys...
we're really doing non-spoilers.
I'll just wrap up by saying, if we, because you're right. Let's not get too into it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna wrap up by saying that I was worried that this movie would be bad, because I don't think the MCU has been good since really Endgame. Like, my 3 favorite projects since Endgame are probably like Shang-Chi, Moon Knight, and probably like Multiverse of Madness, and that one is like okay. And Wakanda Forever. So it's like nothing has really hit the super highs for me, and I know Tyler really likes Wakanda, and I know Spider-Man's really well liked. But like this is just to me a level clearly above any of them. And it's like, it's not that I'm tired of hero movies, it's that I'm tired of these boring mid ones. Like, I need one, like, because they let James Gunn direct. The movie looks great. The action scenes are fantastic, especially that one. And you know exactly the one I'm talking about.
Yes.
That scene is crazy.
Yeah.
Great. And, like, the characters breathe, they have arcs. It's not setting up a bunch of bullshit aside from maybe Adam Warlock stuff, but... Anyways, like, all to say that, like, to me, this is sort of the end of the MCU. Like, this kind of closes off a chapter in my life where, like, this is the last group of characters I was really invested in and that I knew would lead to good storylines. Because, like, there's Spider-Man, but first of all, I was never attached to Tom Holland's Spider-Man nearly as much as the Guardians. And even then, like, I don't know if his future projects will be good because I don't know who's going to be directing them. And anyways, Marvel lost James Gunn, and it's never going to be the same. Yeah. And all I know is that DC is in really good hands because this man does not miss for me. He knows how to, like, hit my emotional beats.
Speaking of DC, I've been on a little DC binge a little bit lately. Yo, that shit's irredeemable.
Which ones?
I learned about what the Speed Force is recently.
Yeah! You see, Barry.
You know about the Speed Force?
You don't know about time booms? You know about time booms?
Dude, Bradley, you're acting like that was a bad thing. I have apparently been spared from bad storytelling from a good chunk of my life.
Speed Force does anything you want it to do. It doesn't even have to be related to speed.
I remember distinctly. I had to explain to Bradley the logic, like the movie or the anime movie was going for in the live lab.
Yeah, you fucking tried.
I had to draw the equation.
I was like,
out.
you know what?
That makes sense for what they were trying to do. It doesn't make sense, period, though.
The Speed Force is a Kingdom Hearts tier power system.
It is.
That's a pretty good tier assessment.
And you know what's crazy is that I think more people should try to get the Speed Force. All you gotta do is get struck by lightning. So you know.
It's so easy.
But
so yeah, easy. Would y'all rank this really high in your Marvel movies? Because I think this is top 3 for me.
I think it'd be pretty up there for me. I need to see it again.
I'm going to rewatch all 3 when this comes out in because I haven't rewatched 1 and 2 in a long time. So.
I've seen 1 recently. 1 and 2 recently. It's still a piece of shit. Don't worry.
You don't like 2, right? Do you like 1?
Yeah, 1's great. 2's a piece of shit.
So
but unfortunately, you have to watch 2.
Here's the thing: we've given you a lot of shit for not liking 2. For what it's worth, you're not alone. A lot of people on the internet also had bad taste when it comes to 2, and that's okay. We can still be friends. I hope that one day maybe we'll watch it together and I'll tell you why it's so good, but I digress. This is like, I think this might be even better than 2 because it's a little more even. I will say,
talking about it? It's no contest. It gets to be way better than 2.
2's my favorite Marvel movie, dude. You gotta chill when you talk shit about 2 around me, okay? We don't see eye to eye. But like this has the best comedy balance out of all 3 of them, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't shoot itself in the foot with the comedy too hard.
What's weird is that I didn't have any laugh out moments during this movie, I would say.
I had a lot of chuckle moments, which is good because I think for how grim the story can be, I didn't want it to be too funny, if that makes sense.
No, yeah, 100%.
Like a Thor Love and Thunder, where it's like, okay.
And I didn't mean that it's like a bad thing. I mean it's more of like I'm just like I didn't laugh as much, but like I really enjoyed the movie still.
I do think there's like some weird editing issues, especially in the first third, where like shit just kind of cuts between scenes, and it gets better. Yeah. It gets better.
Yeah.
But finally, let's talk about the Super Medio movie. This shit's trash.
Hey,
Bradley.
Robert Egert's right.
So here's the thing.
Hold on. That's mean. I'm lying. I don't mean that. But go ahead, Bradley.
Like, this movie doesn't have a good it's not a very amazing plot. It's pretty short. But I'm like, if you're going in expecting an amazing plot in like a Nintendo or Mario movie, I'm like, all right.
Maybe not. Yeah.
Maybe not. And like, maybe that's no excuse. Maybe that's just writing off like they just didn't really try. But man, what I really wanted out of this movie was just to see a bunch of Nintendo shit on a theater screen, and I saw a bunch of Nintendo shit on a theater screen.
Honestly,
every fucking frame had a reference.
Honestly, Bradley, that's not even what I wanted. But I was wrong. That is what I should have wanted, because I was giddy.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I was sitting next to Joe, and we're like, "Oh my god, look!" And we would just be poking each other. Like, yeah, Duck Hunt. When like the first frame of the movie had Glass Joe in a picture,
that's how I knew, dude.
That is actually how I knew that I should give this a good shot, a good chance.
It was Punch Out Pizzeria. I really, my favorite segment of that movie is at the beginning of the movie, like they're walking through a construction zone and Mario just goes through it like a Mario level, and I was like, that's super cute and clever.
And then he literally goes through a Mario level later.
Yes. But I thought the movie had a lot of heart in it in terms of just like, hey, we want like people, we know what people want from this movie in terms of like visuals and I like how they're just like power-ups are a thing. This is how they work, and they work exactly like they do in the game. And I'm like, thank you for not overcomplicating a very simple mechanic. Like, I really, really like that a lot.
I appreciate how gamey they made the plot.
Yeah. Same.
Because
this plot was very similar to Mario Odyssey. I didn't realize.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Bowser ends up in his suit, so I guess it is.
He kidnaps Peach. He ends up in a suit. There's a cake.
I mean,
y'all, Bowser was so good in this movie.
He was. Oh, yeah. The Peaches song was very fun, and like now it's becoming a Let It Go kind of scenario, but it's a good song.
Yeah. I will say though, it was very distracting that they kept putting in 80s movie music.
It was so bad, actually.
It's Illumination, dude.
I know. And the thing is like, okay, I could understand it's like, oh, we gotta appeal to like the adults that have kids around this age, so we need to bring back some nostalgia from some songs that like they like. I'm like, yeah, that's a great idea. Here's the thing: the adults that have kids for the children this age are our age, so they did not grow up in the 80s. They grew up in the 90s and the early 2000s, so you're already out of like the proper age range for those musics.
Not only that, like, why the fuck would you play Take On Me when they're driving around the Donkey Kong Kingdom?
Donkey Kong Kingdom? Like, what the fuck?
What?
Yeah. Like, it's
And the other issue is because when they were playing the Mario remixes, they were so good. The actual Mario music renditions were excellent in this movie.
Like, here's the thing. Illumination movies always look really beautiful to me, but what pisses me off is that they don't have, like, original soundtracks usually. But what also pisses me off is usually their humor, and I feel like it was way more toned down in this movie, which people were joking about online, like Nintendo was breathing down their necks, like, no fart jokes.
Yeah, well, good. I kind of appreciated that.
Yeah, me too.
The humor was like very kiddie, of course.
It was really kiddie.
But like, I definitely got some good chuckles and laughs out of there. Like, I was not bothered by the humor at all.
Yeah, I like the part where like Mario and Donkey Kong were both like lamenting that their fathers think they're failures, and Donkey Kong's like, yeah, well, your father's right.
That was good. What did y'all think of the voice cast? Or you could go first, Joe.
I was actually about to jump into the voice cast because I think Fred Armisen as Cranky Kong was fucking awful.
Yes.
It was really bad.
Yeah,
and, like,
I don't think anyone's had good things to say about that one.
Yeah, I think Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong, okay, but like
okay.
Seth Rogen's Donkey Kong fucking killed me. I never knew I wanted to see Donkey Kong do a Seth Rogen laugh.
No.
But I am not disappointed at all.
I gotta say, Toad was really good, I thought.
Very good.
Yes.
So,
Michael Keel.
Since this is the Chris Pratt episode, since we've actually talked about three Chris Pratt topics,
yeah. Okay.
I actually thought he was quite good, and I gave him a lot of shit.
He did way better than I thought he would.
Same. I think Charlie Day's Luigi also killed it too.
The real problem is that it's a script problem, not at all a Chris Pratt problem. Where I think they made Mario too much of an everyman. And when I think of Mario, I think of wahoo waha! Kind of like
he's over the top. Like he think of Super Mario Brothers 3. He's running with his hands behind his back like Naruto, dude.
I'm even thinking of just like look at like the generic like 3D renders of Mario where he's jumping. If you at least look at his face, he's smiling and having fun. He doesn't look like someone. He doesn't look like someone who's thinking about how his dad like.
How am I gonna pay off the loan to the bank for our truck for our plumbing business?
So every time I play a Mario game when I'm jumping around and doing triple flips and going woohoo, I'm gonna be like Mario's thinking my dad thinks I'm an idiot.
Wahoo! I'm a disappointment. Wah!
No.
But like, it's not like I dislike the actual little storyline. It's just like I wanted them to inject a little bit more of that Mario having fun, because like Mario is not the most complex character, but like. I think of him and I think of someone who's having a pretty good time doing his thing.
I want to say this. I am very excited at what this movie represents.
Yes.
They made a movie without needing to really have a story that was still entertaining to watch, which gives a nice opportunity to a lot of our silent and voiceless protagonists in Nintendo games.
Dude, I don't know if they're the studio for it, but a cool Metroid movie would be so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It also, gives a lot of potential for, if they keep making money like this, them just completely taking over more sections of outdated Universal Studios parks.
Dude, they're about to have an era like Marvel had.
And creating like Donkey Kong Kingdom or Kong Kingdom.
Fuck yeah. I'm Nintendo sweep, and then they can sue us all when we even think about pirating their games.
When they make Dreamland, we're never gonna see Bradley again. He's gonna become a Disney kid and live in Orlando.
He's gonna turn into Kirby.
Dude, he's gonna hang out with Adele or whatever the name is from the girl in his avatar.
Adele.
What is her name, Bradley?
I thought it's
like Adelaide.
It's like Adelaide.
It's a girl though.
I only love her. But yeah, it was fun. I will say. Okay, time for my main gripe. And it's always been this, and I'm going to post something and check the date. It is from September 24th, 2021. And I had a prediction about the kind of character they would turn Peach into. And I think I got a lot of it right.
Yeah.
And it's just like okay, let's not make Peach the damsel in distress. It is what it is, right? And I was like ranting about it. They're gonna do that, but like the thing is, I think Peach as a character is a fun character. She's a girly girl, but she's like having a good time, and I don't think you need to necessarily step away from that interpretation of the character. Like, you can still make her a queen, you can still make her not be the one kidnapped, but you can still make her like sassy and have fun. Like, the Peach in this movie would never grab her dress and go la 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 and say Peachy. Like, that's the shit I like. Peach is a fun character.
That's a different character. Because like, here's the thing: the la 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 Peach is also the same Peach who in Mario Strikers goes, oh, and like she has personality. She even had her own fucking game on the DS where she was the hero and everything.
Exactly.
And she stayed in character.
And it's like you could have definitely found an in between. They just kind of made her a queen girl boss, puts on the ice flower and solos the Bowser army kung fu bike riding like perfect queen, and it's like, man, you could have nailed it. But I can see the directions that took him to that Peach. But anyways, Bradley, say more nice things, because I know there was a bunch of things that you like.
Dude, so one thing I know we're hoping was in this movie was the like Mario and Luigi style combo attack.
Man,
I rewatched the Superstar scene at the end, and it's almost there. It's not hype as it could have been.
Joe said the exact same thing.
Yeah, as we were walking out, I was just like, I just wanted more scenes of like Mario and Luigi together.
Yeah, more just Luigi. Like I don't.
Yeah.
He got shunted off at the start of the movie.
It's like
Maybe in the sequel when they have Daisy, he'll be more prominent.
Yeah. I kind of liked how they handled the Peach Mario romance, not romance, by just kind of playing it both ways, and it worked weirdly. It's like, whatever, we'll deal with this in a future movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
It wasn't distracting to me. And I liked how Bowser definitely saw it as like a romantic thing and got very mad about it.
God, that guy is so funny.
He's so good.
Him practicing with comic was
A very
great.
fun scene.
You're doing great, sir. I agree with Bradley. That ending superstar scene was like hype as shit, and it was a long game Bowser. It's great.
They did.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah.
That gay Bowser.
I like
so
how we
long.
already know who the antagonist for the next movie is going to be too.
Dude.
Birdo.
Oh,
No,
Birdo's not an antagonist.
It is when I fight them.
Choose on violence.
Wait, who do you think will be?
I think it's going to be Baby Bowser Jr.
Oh yeah.
With some
He's
time
got to
travel?
rescue his dad.
I did say as we were walking out that the plot should be Mario and Luigi turn to babies and they have to use Yoshi to like run across so you get Yoshi's Island.
Yeah. Bowser Jr. With the help of Comic turns the Mario Brothers into babies.
I'm in.
And then
Okay.
they got to ride on Yoshi.
Okay, and
Yeah.
then we can get some partners in time Mario and Luigi vibes out of that as well.
And you know what? Every 10 minutes of the movie, the baby fucking cries as loud as possible.
and then like a bubble floats into your theater.
Yeah.
And you have to
Yeah.
kind of like volleyball it away.
It's the first ever interactive movie.
No.
It really emphasizes that. Like, the studio people have to come out and like blow a giant bubble at the top. And
Let's go to a shitty movie theater when that movie comes out and bring a beach ball. And whenever they start crying, just start throwing it around the theater.
No.
And it'll be at an Alamo Draft House, and they will snipe us out of existence.
They probably would.
Oh, y'all, I had such a terrible viewing experience for this movie.
Really?
Damn.
And I was at Alamo. Not only was I at Alamo, I was in like a 5-row theater. I like intentionally went to go see it in the smallest one.
See, the thing with those 5 rows is that if it does happen to be bad by chance, it's worse because it's so close.
Man,
Yeah.
he was some like 19-year-old kid who was high as fuck and also drinking like a Jack and Coke. And he was sitting next to me, not whispering to his partner the whole time, and then smacking his food. I was like, you're a degenerate piece of shit.
We went to a 10 o'clock showing for this show. And kids still showed up, which I thought was crazy. Like your parents are going to let you come to a Thursday night showing at 10 o'clock. Man, they must really need you to be quiet for 2 hours. But we didn't have nearly as bad a experience as y'all did.
It was a good time. And,
yeah, it was.
I like the when you see a kids laughing at a kids movie, you're like, well, at least these
weren't kids. My experience was not ruined by kids at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. To bounce off of that, Tyler, when I saw Detective Pikachu, I saw it load, and I was in a packed fucking theater.
Oh.
And the kid next to me, or the guy next to me, brought his fucking giant ass Squirtle to the movie theater and said every Pokemon's name as it came up on the screen.
Someone's worse than me out there when it comes to Pokemon. It's good to see it.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I want to say, I don't know if this is a hot take, I think this movie is way better than the Detective Pikachu movie. Like, at least 1 or 2 points above for me.
I think so.
I would rate it higher just because I feel like there was more like there's just more there for the fans.
I think so too.
Like
I enjoy them both.
Yeah, like again, like Detective Pikachu's all right, but I thought this one was like it was more than all right. It was good.
Yeah,
solid.
I think the problem with Detective Pikachu is that they just had the actual like people actors were very they were probably like 18 or something, and this was like their first big movie, so it just they weren't nearly as good as they could be as another actor that might be in the situation.
It was like a situation of I think they deviated a little bit too far from the games. Like the Pokemon are there, but they're not making as many references as the Mario movie, which is like the game transcribed into a film somehow. which is pretty cool.
But okay, so we mentioned all these references and how we love them, but I think at the same time, like, if they make a Metroid or a Zelda movie, I don't think it'll be nearly as good as a reception in terms of those references if they're scattered as much everywhere.
And the thing is, those will have to actually have a good story. Like, there's no other way. It won't. It doesn't necessarily need to have a lot of dialogue, but it'll need a good visual story.
You know what would be wild? Like the craziest fucking thing in the world. Nintendo greenlights another movie for like they use the franchise, and they choose F-0. That would be fucking crazy. Could you imagine? Everyone was like, "Oh, it's a Smash Brothers movie." Because I don't.
That'd be fantastic because the F-Zero fans would be so pissed at the announcement. Instead of being happy, they're like, "Where the fuck's our game? We waited since the GameCube." Like,
although I would be hype as fuck if it was an F-Zero movie. Just
like Speed Racer, that'd be neat.
Yeah. But no, I enjoyed the movie. I am very excited to see more of this in those properties. But I do hope that this Mario movie is the worst of all the Nintendo movies that come later.
Yes, me too. That'd be cool. I would think it's a good franchise if we only move up from here. Bradley, did you cry at the Luigi Captain America scene or no? Because that's what Joe predicted.
Yeah.
The Luigi Captain America scene?
Where he blocks Bowser's breath with the
that was badass, dude. That was so sick.
That was sweet.
Damn.
I did not cry though.
Damn, that's a whiff. This movie has a weird message of Mario ain't shit unless he's doing drugs and power-ups, but it's okay. It'll be it'll be fixed next movie. He'll be like better on his base level.
Watch the next movie, wake up with him in a fucking insane asylum in rehab, and they're like, it was all a dream, Mario. You gotta wake up.
Yep, seems like a reasonable location for us to go from here.
Yeah,
and I think that's all our topics, and we actually did question of the day in the beginning stealthily. So
nice. I don't even remember it.
That's why I'm not giving details because I also don't remember what it was. Anyways, goodbye everyone. Thanks for the good chats. Bye bye.
Farewell.